Hello there, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 925, Nuevo Dos Cinco, with your host, Agostino Zinga. How you doing? How you feeling? How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing. How am I? All good, all things considered. All good, all things considered. I cannot complain. All good, all things considered. I cannot freaking complain. I've just finished, spending the majority of my morning editing and recording a little Patreon episode that should be out right now on my Patreon. If you're not already subscribed to my Patreon, make sure you check it out. Patreon.com/Agostino, where I do a live reaction to Marc Maron's new comedy special called Panicked by Marc Maron on HBO Max. I did a live reaction to it, so if you want to watch it along with me, you can watch it for as little as $1 per month. You can watch all my Patreon content for as little as $1 per month. So if you're a bit tight, you don't want to pay for HBO subscription, you don't want to download torrents, you don't want to watch it with a million ads, then you can check out my million interruptions as I'm watching it on flipping Patreon at patreon.com/Agostino. Link in the description down below, but I'll talk about that later. I started off my week, or a couple of days ago, watching a random YouTube video that came across my timeline. Big up the YouTube feed. Big up the YouTube feed. Big up the YouTube feed. I feel like maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one here that does this. But I don't specifically check my subscription box. I know I should do that because I implore everyone that listens to my content, watches my content, to like and subscribe like every other bozo content creator out there. But I don't actually check my subscription box or that tab. I just check what's on the, I just log on to youtube.com, and what I see on the main page, on the front page, is what I kind of click on. But I have to be honest, that algo is undefeated. In a good way and a bad way. Sometimes if you click a video you don't really mean to click, it can sometimes keep recommending you that type of video. That can be annoying. But if you are intentful, if you are, whatever, with the videos that you want to watch, that main feed is pretty good. So I was recommended a video, courtesy of this channel, that I hadn't known about before, called Crime Scene to Courtroom. The title of the video is called Freedom to Fury, How Hughie Holmes Turned One Day Out of Prison into Disaster. It's an incredible, in my opinion, incredible little documentary video that basically depicts the life of this guy called Hughie Holmes, who was just released from prison when that footage is kind of released of the Ring doorbell camera or something happened, right? So this guy gets released from prison for a vehicle accident. He kind of, purposely rear ends somebody in a motorway. They end up injured, and he goes into prison, I think, for 18 months or something like that, right? He comes out of prison, and within 24 hours, he gets into a scrap with some random guy in his area who he doesn't know from Adam. They have no prior communication. They're not friends. Nothing. He gets into a random scrap with some guy that happens to be his neighbor, or someone lives locally to him. Let's just say the neighbor ends up beating the guy up, right? The aggressor. So the aggressor tries to get into a fight with some random guy minding his business. The random guy minding his business fucks him up. Literally fucks him up in the video. You see, he slips a punch, knocks him with a right hand. The guy's collapsed on the floor, gets folded like a lawn chair. The guy's just minding his business, wailing into him, saying, "Come on, you want it, you want it, you want it." Like proper northern guy stuff, right? You want it, you want it. Like properly banging him up. And then the guy who's obviously the aggressor gets up a bit weary, but a bit weary, not trying to get his bearings. He stumbles over to his car. Jumps into his car, decides to do a loop around the block, and as he does a loop around the block, he purposely drives in towards the direction of the person that beat him up's van and other people, and inadvertently he ends up crashing into some random bystander who was trying to stop the fight. So he doesn't even crash into the guy that beat him up. He crashes into like a random dude who was trying to stop the fight when the fight was occurring. And that guy is now, I think he's still at the time of speaking, is in hospital. He has a broken spine or something, screws everywhere. He was in a coma. The guy was really close to fucking dying. And it all happened because this guy called Hughie Holmes was essentially embarrassed that he got beaten up. That's actually what happened. He got embarrassed that he got beaten up. And you know what it reminded me of? Random kind of connection to make. Back in the day, maybe because I grew up in a part of East London where there was a quite, I don't know, maybe the part of East London that I grew up in Canning Town, Custom House area, Beckton earlier on when I used to live there. Big up Ella Wilkinson Primary School. If you know, you know. Big up fucking Royal Docks. Big up Woodside. You know, big up all them sides over there. Big up fucking Eastleigh, Brampton, all those fucking places, right? St. Bonaventures, St. Andrew, St. Bonaventures, Sixth Form, all that fucking shit, right? I was around. I remember growing up in that area. There was a certain breed of white guy that used to even scare the blacks. There was a certain breed, a certain caliber of white dude that used to scare some of the blacks. The ones that were like mental. They appeared mental. What, you want some? You want some? You want some? You want some? Carried a hammer, screwdrivers, would kind of kick your door down, would kick your car, would steal your bike. Like, just like the crazy one. You thought they were crazy, right? But what you got to realize as you got older was that those guys couldn't actually fight. They kind of got by on their craziness because they were those kids when we were all younger. They were the kid that swore at adults, or that answered back to their parents, or got chucked out of secondary school, got chucked out of primary school. So for you, as a law-abiding goody two-shoes kid, especially someone like myself, grew up in a very conservative African household, very religious and shit. You kind of, you know, yes sir, ma'am, all this stuff, auntie, uncle, right? Growing up with that kind of, you know, being that obedient, and then seeing a kid like tell his mum to fuck off, hearing the kid say, "Oh, mum, fuck off," tell the teacher to shut the fuck up, like throwing stuff at people in the classroom, fighting in the classroom, like turning up with like his own uniform, not giving a fuck. It would scare you. And you think, oh my God, this guy's mental. This guy's crazy. He's a psycho. He'll fuck me up. But the reality is, after watching this Hughie Holmes video, the reality is these motherfuckers grow up to be Hughie Holmes, but they can't actually fight. And the moment they come across somebody who can fight, it completely changes their entire world, and it shakes their psyche. It shakes the core of who they are. And that's essentially what happened to this Hughie Holmes guy. He got banged up by that white van driver. And again, white van driver was minding his business. Hughie Holmes drives by in his car. And actually, to be fair to Hughie Holmes, it was his girlfriend's fault. Whoever the girl was in the passenger seat really got him into a Scooby. And those type of girls are the worst type of girls. Those girls that specifically go for the quote-unquote bad boys, right? They're the ones that really get guys into fucking trouble. So they're driving by this guy in a van who's just standing on the side of the road doing his thing. And then that woman gets into some sort of altercation with the van driver. I think when I read the comments somewhere, it alleged that that woman who was sitting with Hughie Holmes in the car, in the passenger seat, she thought white van driver said something to her. Maybe he catcalled her, maybe he heckled something, maybe he said something slick, whatever. And then she gets out of the car. What did you say? What did you say? You what? You what? You what? And of course, Hughie Holmes comes out on some back in my bird. Oh, you took to my missus thing, right? And then, of course, that leads to the altercation, and he gets fucking folded like a fucking lawn chair. So that woman actually is the one that sparks off everything, because she got out of the car and approached this man face to face, like, you know, which I never advocate, by the way. I'm never a fan, will never fucking condone guys that hit women. I think it's fucking abhorrent. I put hitting women up there with fucking grape. I put hitting women up there with kicking dogs. Or kicking pets in general. I put hitting women out there fucking diddling kids. It's abhorrent. It's fucking disgusting. But what I don't like is this acceptance in society nowadays that it's perfectly okay for women to put their hands on men or to get in the faces of some men. And I think you shouldn't do that, because most men, I think, are like myself, who don't, abide or condone, brutality when it comes to women and shit, or violence. But there are some niggas, there are some guys out there that are very unhinged, that have no moral compass, that have no fucking line. If you touch them, if you get into their face, something activates and they fucking will wail into you. They don't matter what's between your legs. They don't matter. They have no fucking care whatsoever. So I would much prefer we lived in a world where everybody kept their hands to themselves, unless they're ready to scrap. Unless you're ready to scrap, keep your motherfucking hands to yourself. There's no reason to put your hands onto anyone. Or keep yourself out of the vicinity of somebody's fucking danger zone. That woman came up to that guy's danger zone. He felt threatened. Or he made a reaction that would have made Hughie Holmes felt like, oh, I got to back my bird. And by the time, we realized what was happening, it was fucking too late. And, everything went to fucking shit's creek. Absolutely incredible footage. You know what? I'm actually going to play it because I think it's worth playing. And I want to give a shout out to this fucking channel. So big up this fucking channel. Let me see if I can get it. What's it called? It's called Freedom to, there we go. No, it's not that. Freedom to what? Freedom to Fury, Hughie Holmes. Let's see if I got it on here, because I actually want to play it for you guys, because you need to see this. Where is it? What's his name? Crime Scene. There we go.
Today's story takes us to Ferry Hill in County Durham, where less than 24 hours after being released from prison, Hughie Holmes commits a truly astonishing crime on an innocent bystander. Take a look at the following.
That's Hughie Holmes and his girlfriend. So there they are, right? Hughie Holmes and his girlfriend in that car there in the dark, and that guy next to his silver van, full transit van. No idea what happens, but for some reason, the girlfriend gets out and tries to have some sort of words with the guy, which then escalates into the fight. Who are you looking at? She says, right? That's Holmes' girlfriend. Who are you looking at? Oh, okay. I got it wrong. Excuse me. There's a guy sitting in the transit van who may have looked at them as they were driving past. Hughie Holmes' girlfriend takes that look as some sort of like threat. I don't know what she does, but in all, whatever. I don't care how the situation transpired. There's no reason why that woman should be approaching those guys on that kind of timing by herself. That's already putting your guy into a fucking situation. You know what I mean? You're already because imagine if those guys are on smoke. Now you're putting him in a situation where he has to respond with violence. So if anything, this woman's the one that set the course of events happening. She's the one that lit that fucking match, and it was too late to turn back when she was in that area, because there's no way they were going to have a civil conversation while she was like, "What are you doing? Are you looking at me?" And it's like, "What are you doing, lady, man? What are you doing?"
Well, you looking over now.
Dark blue trousers.
And then another woman comes out to back the other guy in the room, and it's crazy. And already Hughie Holmes is coming down. Look, he's already walking down with his fist clenched. He's already walking down the street with his fist clenched, ready to scrap. Damn.
Blue top and a black hat. I believe this mail's you.
Bro, look at his face in the interview room after. That guy fucked him up, innit? Big up Transit Man. Big up Silver Ford Transit Man. He fucked him up. Look at his face. Look at his face after the fact. Eye completely swollen. The side of his face looks like he might have got some sort of fracture on his jaw. He looks absolutely smashed to bits. Let's continue.
Okay.
No one's looking at
Fucking hell. That was so good. One more time. The way he slipped the punch, leant back, he kind of leant back, ducked, and then bang, right, overhand right. And that's honestly, I wish I would have known that when I was a kid. When I was a kid, guys like Hughie Holmes used to terrorize us in our ends in Custom House in Town. All it took was for a couple of cousins to come down and visit us and bad them up. And then we'll realize, oh shit, these guys aren't as bad as we thought they were. But when we were kids growing up, a lot of these guys in Custom House, Canning Town, Beckton, if you know, you know. Some of the white guys from that area, right? They were like, kind of racist in a way. But they had this aura about them because they were nutty. They would jump out of cars with like fucking crowbars and baseball bats. They were always screaming, "What, you want some? You want some?" But in actuality, if you would have slipped that first swing of a crowbar, if you would have ducked that first fucking punch and connected one punch in their face, they're done. They're done. But they had this fucking presence where they come out on some shouty thing. And now, obviously, as we know, the older you get, the more you fucking practice and you start fighting and shit and you whatever, dabble into boxing, some Muay Thai, some this, some that. The more you start to realize that actually people that can fight are not really on that whole rah-rah, shouty shit anyway. The one that screams the loudest and is really kind of amped up is usually the one that's is probably the most scared of everybody else. So that's what you kind of realize as you kind of, get some experience fighting or whatever else it may be. But this is fucking beautiful. One more time.
Well, let's see. What you doing?
and see you go to throw a punch at the male. He slips it, and then he lands the right hook, and you hit the floor.
Look, bang, bang. Whoa.
At this point, another male turns up. Do you recognise him?
No clue.
Okay, he's the victim.
By the way, another lesson as well for everybody out there. Not that it needs to be said. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but mind your business, man. You know, get well soon to this guy. Get well soon to him because the injuries sound horrific. But minding your business probably is the best course of action, especially when it involves like known loud mouth gangsters, whatever. It doesn't involve you. Just allow it. Mind your business. Call the police if you have to. Like, you know, I wouldn't necessarily do that, but if you want to, call the police if you have to. But mind your business, because this guy tried to be a good Samaritan. He tried to stop the beef. He tried to, like, you know, calm the situation, plead for peace, let everyone go back to where they come from, whatever. And he ended up having to be in hospital for a prolonged period of time. Do you know what I mean? Get well soon to this guy, obviously, but minding your business is the key. Now there's Hughie Holmes now. If I was them, I would have left already, but there's Hughie Holmes getting into his car now. Clearly a little bit, you know, a little bit wobbly, but he's clearly still feeling very, very embarrassed that he got folded up so quickly like that. So he now tries to get revenge by jumping in the car and crashing into the guys later. It's fucking tragic, man.
The guy we've pointed out throughout this entire incident, Hughie, he doesn't hit anyone, he doesn't kick anyone, he doesn't punch anyone. All he does is get in the middle and split everybody up. He's a concerned citizen who's come over and he's getting in the way of everybody because when he looks out, there's a couple of people on the floor and there's some kicks and punches being thrown at people on the floor and he doesn't like the look of it.
You know what, though? Even though I don't think he should have got involved and he still suffered horrific injuries, his involvement might have saved someone's life. His involvement might have saved someone's life. But he should never have got involved, man. He was all the way over there, like, just, ugh.
So he's come out because he doesn't want to see anybody get hurt. And at no point does he become either an aggressor or violent. All right?
Where have you gone in the car now?
Jumps in the car. Do you want it? Who wants it? The lady in the background. He's already had it. He's already had it. He's on the floor. Do you fucking want it? He's already had it. Jesus Christ.
So you've driven off and you've left two mates or acquaintances in the street who were in the car with you and you've just drove off. So
so that guy in the shorts was one of his mates that got folded too. So he's get folded, his mate gets folded. He doesn't try and help them up. He doesn't try and get his girlfriend in a car and drive away to safety. He just jumps in the car himself and just goes for revenge by himself. And in the process, probably hits his friend as well.
Why?
No comment.
What you get in the car for?
No comment.
What a piece of shit. And you can't see obviously because they blank it out. But essentially, I'm assuming the guy with the bald head who tries to break everything up, he ends up crashing into him, which ends up sending him to hospital and shit. So he didn't even get the person who fucking fucked him up. He ended up fucking crashing into an innocent bystander, a good Samaritan and shit. Absolutely tragic.
Were you driving that car?
No comment.
Was that you getting out the car?
No comment.
That's the same male that got out the driver's seat in the first place.
No comment.
It's the same one that was involved in the confrontation. The same one that was knocked to the floor. The same one that was punched. the same one that got back into the Megane and drove off. Have you got nothing to say after seeing that footage, Hugh? 2022, you were sentenced to 32 months in prison for causing serious injury by dangerous driving.
2 passengers, vehicles obviously come over here on a tree. One's ran off, she was life-threatening.
Are you willing? On this case, sometimes the police get it wrong, but most of the time they don't, innit? If you end up in prison for like serious dangerous driving or whatever, right? And you go to prison for it, you get into an accident where you actually go to prison, there's probably a reason why, you know? You're probably a little bit fucked in the head. Jesus Christ. Not even 24 hours after release, he ends up in another accident, another crime, another fucking crash involving a car. Jesus Christos. Big up Black American. I agree. Nikki keeps offering up her man's ass as a beating. I feel like the women who do that have to be treated like princesses forever and assume that their pum pum protects them. Yeah, exactly. I just think it's highly irresponsible and dangerous. Let's say your guy is the baddest guy in the world. Let's say your guy is the top gangster of all gangsters, the top capo of all capo, the Dangorgan. There's always somebody out there badder. There's always one person who's a level above what your guy is. So are you willing to keep rolling the dice on your guy, you know, defending your honor and maybe having to face his inevitable demise at the hands of some random person he doesn't know? And sometimes it doesn't even happen to be a person bad. It can just be somebody that can just fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people underestimate the person that's just minding his business who isn't involved in the street life. That guy could have just been a regular, this silver van guy could have just been a regular dude minding his business, having a bit of a break in between fucking jobs, chilling. And then this guy rocks up trying to, you know, press him and shit. He's like, what the fuck? Like, huh? And then obviously he folds him up. He has no idea who that guy is. He's just like, yeah, I'm defending myself. Leave me the fuck alone. So you never know who can actually do that to you. So it's just a shame all around because if you're the woman, your boyfriend, the guy you're with suffers, you suffer. The person that's, you know, the innocent victim in this whole thing, who kind of gets ganged up upon, they suffer, the family suffer, the people there suffer. It's just a horrible, horrible, borderline evil thing to do. I'm not going to lie.
Give me a sample of breath for analysis.
You drove another uninsured vehicle whilst with no licence through a red light, hitting a van and causing serious injury again. Okay? Do you have anything to say?
No comment.
Right. Did you offer any assistance to the male on the floor, Hughie?
No comment.
Did you phone an ambulance?
No comment.
Did you phone the police?
No comment.
Did you tell anybody to phone an ambulance?
No comment.
Did you tell anybody to phone the police?
No comment.
I told you I'm still going to ask you questions.
Exactly.
No.
All right?
Well, you know the answer's going to be, don't you?
Well, doesn't matter what the answer's going to be, I'm still going to ask you the question. Did you intend to kill him?
No comment.
So what did you think would happen driving a 1.5 ton motor vehicle?
No comment.
Speeding excessively, revving the engine, not braking. You're incredibly lucky you haven't trapped that man between your car and that van and killed him. You are incredibly lucky.
No comment.
Right? And if that's all you've got to say, Hughie, I don't know what to say to you.
Exactly.
Because do you know what? That is horrific. Absolutely horrific.
No comment.
That guy did nothing more than come out of his house to split up a fight and stop you from getting hurt, and you've hospitalised him. So somebody who come to your aid in a fight you started is now in hospital, sedated, in intensive care. And you're not showing a single shred of remorse at all.
No comment.
Yo, big up the police officers, man. They're really like boying him off in this interview. They're talking to him like an absolute scumbag. They're talking to him with such disdain in their voice. Big up the police.
From the crashed Renault Megane to the grassed area is 50 metres and you were arrested at 14:58 hours.
Hey, give that to you! There's boys in this back street after.
Listen, this is bad. This is my van. They've rammed this and that. I don't know.
Right, you two lads, stay there now. Right, put your hand behind your back. Put your hand behind your back.
Listen, look. Dad, your dad. Look, dad, son. You best, mate. I understand. This is helping.
Get them in cuffs as well. Right, mate, you're detained at this moment in time, okay?
You're all on camera. I just smacked you in the back. Have you got insurance?
Have you got insurance, you know? I don't think he's worried about the insurance part of it, love. Have you got insurance, you know?
You're gonna get the
Oi!
Calm
yourself down, mate.
What's your name, mate?
Yo, police, shut the fuck up as well, man. They're rightfully the community is rightfully pissed off. They've just seen the guy try to murder somebody with his car in broad daylight because he got fucking knocked out in the fight. They're allowed to be pissed off. He's probably been terrorizing that community, that local area for a fucking while. You know what I mean? Like, and they probably know the victim. He minds his business. He's a good fucking guy, and they're fucking upset. They're fucking traumatized having to see that in real life, in real time. Allow them to freak out. Allow them to fucking say their fucking swear words and their insults towards the guy. They're not hitting him or anything. You got him under arrest. You got him in handcuffs. Oh, calm down. Fuck off.
You guys.
You what?
Hughie Holmes.
Hughie Holmes.
Oh.
All right, Hughie, at this point, because of what's been alleged, mate, you've been detained at this point, all right, until you can ascertain what's going on.
So they've had a bit of a scuffle, got back in that car.
Look at his face, bro. A bit of a scuffle, honestly. Silver van guy deserves a medal. Look at what he did to that guy's face. Slipped one punch, banged him, and then started waiting on the floor. Look what he did to his face. Opened up his nose. Nose is probably broken. Busted up his eye. Fucking hell, he's leaking everywhere in his fucking face. Everywhere on his fucking face. But you know what? Big up on 10 toes. I'm liable to crash like this. I'm a bit empathetic. You know what's funny about the situation? I understand what on 10 toes is saying, because I'm the same when it comes to fights and physical altercations. I purposely go out of my way to not get involved in any physical altercation, any arguments, because I know I have that inner coward in me, where I'm so afraid of looking like a coward, I'm willing to go to the nth to prove that I'm not. So I don't want to put myself in a situation where that reaction will have to kind of get triggered, because I don't want to be embarrassed. You know, I don't want to get mugged off. I don't want to end up on a fucking knockout compilation. And I think a lot of guys are like that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of good to just keep your distance from people. And also, you never know what the other person's on. I'm talking like I'm the fucking baddest guy in the world, but you never know what the other person's on, especially these days. Especially with the popularity of fucking UFC and everything else going on and boxing gyms being cheap and da-da-da-da. You never know what skills and assets the regular guy walking down the street has. So you go start bothering somebody thinking that you're going to get the one over them, thinking that you're going to mug them off because they're wearing a silly hat or because they've got a stupid walk or whatever. And you never know. That fucking dad, that dad that looks like a 60-year-old might lay you flat on your ass. That dad might lay you flat on your ass. So keep your hands to yourself. Don't get involved in physical altercations. If your missus tries to fight some dude, calm her down before she gets you in fucking trouble and keep it moving. Or you might end up like that.
Car there, they've drove to the end, they've turned round, and I'm not kidding you, they've come up this road here, full pelt.
Wish I was back in jail.
When was the last time you were in, like?
Did you go this morning?
This morning? What were you in for there, like you?
Seriously, what? Dangerous driving?
Dangerous driving. Right.
Oh.
What time did you get released this morning, like?
But half nine.
Half nine. Well, it's not really ideal, is it, making this 3:30 now?
What's your name, fella?
Hughie Holmes.
Other than your face, have you got any other injuries?
That's it, I was in your face.
Mate, you've got blood all over your face. That's what I'm saying. Like, have you got any other injuries?
Anywhere else hurting or like that?
I like how the police don't even try and wipe you down. This guy's leaking from all over his face, and they don't even try and wipe you down, pat down like nothing. They just let you stand there. Fucking hell.
No, I was.
Mate, you've got a hell of a lot of cash on you. What's that key for? Mate, what was the,
Honestly, British police, you got so much cash on you. Go fuck yourself about I got so much cash on me. Mind your fucking business. Let's address the fucking assault that happened. Why are you worried about the cash I have on me? Like, honestly, police and fucking money and cash in your pocket. Like, it's like a... so what? I have fucking cash in my pocket. So fucking what? So fucking what? Honestly, man. Oh, you have a lot of cash on you right now. It's like, and? What am I meant to do? Not carry cash on me. I'm meant to fucking carry a receipt everywhere I go. An invoice. To kind of keep... To placate you. To please you. To make you okay with it. God almighty. Police and cash, man. The amount of cash they must have taken off of British citizens, the amount of cash they've taken off of hard-working people who just happen to have some cash on them because they withdrew it or because someone gave, whatever the reason they've got some cash on them. And it's like if you get stopped and searched at the wrong time, wrong timing, that cash will get confiscated and you're now down several hundred thousands of fucking pounds. I fucking hate it.
What's the...
Renault.
Hughie's got the key for the Renault on him.
He's got the key for the Renault. Right.
We've got you getting out of the driver's side of the car. You've got the clothing you were wearing. We've got the key to the vehicle in your pocket. We've got continuity of you getting back into the car, driving it, crashing it, and getting out of it. And we've got body cam footage 8 minutes after the collision showing you wearing exactly the same clothing with your face covered in injuries from this crash, and you've got nothing at all to add to that.
No forward.
Nothing further at this stage you want to tell us?
No comment.
Okay, I've got no further questions for you.
No, neither do I. Interviews.
Wow, look how they get up with such disdain. Look how they get up. They don't even wait for him to say anything. They instantly get up and turn their back to him, like full disgust on display. I love it.
Completed at 12 hours.
That one.
Hugh Raymond Holmes, wounding with intent, driving whilst disqualified, failing to provide specimen for breath, driving without insurance. Oh, shit. You can decline to give your breath to do the breathalyzer test if you get pulled. Really? I didn't even know that. Okay. Failing to provide specimen. I thought they have to take you by force. Driving without license. He got jailed for 18 years and banned for driving for 15 years.
You put up live like you.
Oi, don't stop.
To be fair, considering no one died, 18 years is a pretty high sentence, though. Maybe because he's a repeating offender. That's a good jail time because he's a fucking crazy guy. But getting 18 years and no one actually died, that's pretty wild, to be fair.
No worries.
The victim in this case suffered a traumatic brain injury, multiple facial fractures and a broken leg requiring surgical screws, spending 7 months in hospital. He is still undergoing treatment. Despite CCTV evidence, Holmes of Spennymoor denied he had been involved, saying no comment throughout a police interview. He was charged with assault causing grievous bodily harm with intent, inflicting grievous bodily harm without intent, disqualified driving, driving with no insurance, and refusing to provide a specimen of breath for analysis. He pleaded guilty to all charges except causing grievous bodily harm following a 2-day trial at Durham Crown Court. He was found guilty in just 20 minutes by the jury and was jailed for 18 years. He has also been banned from driving for 15 years. DC Lauren Howe, who led the investigation, said, quote, Holmes is a despicable criminal who clearly hadn't learnt any lessons from his previous crime, which he had just been released from prison for. He left the victim with critical injuries just before Christmas, and they continue to have a huge impact on him and his family. However, thanks to the bravery of the victim and the whole community pulling together, we were able to gather overwhelming evidence to charge Holmes and put him back before the court.
So yeah, I watched that earlier and it just made me think to myself, you know what? It's really important to teach your kids how to fight. It's really important. That confidence that they have to defend themselves is really important because sometimes growing up, you can get surrounded by people who act like the bad boy, who act like the gangsters, who act like, you know, they're the scary big bad wolf, but deep down inside, they're not. Deep down inside, they're not. They're just fucking cowards, you know, kind of scaring you because they're scared themselves. You get what I mean? And if you just bang them one time, these guys fold like fucking lawn chairs. But what you can't do is hang around. You can't hang around because guys like that have no fucking chill. And obviously what he did was fucking heinous. So glad to see he's behind bars. Hopefully that guy gets well soon. Hopefully the victim gets well and makes a speedy recovery soon. That's what we can hope. That's what we can hope for. Moving on. I also want to talk a little bit about Marc Maron. I've just finished watching Marc Maron's comedy special. I do recommend that you check it out. It's called Panicked. Or it's called Panic. Panic or Panic? I think it's called Panicked. No, Panic. Am I getting it wrong here? Panic or Panicked? It's called Panic. It's called Panic. I'm pretty sure it's called Panic. Hopefully I've got it right. Is it Panicked? No, it's called Panicked. Yes, Panicked. Released now on HBO Max. Recommend you check it out. I reacted to it on my Patreon. Check out my Patreon. The link to my Patreon should be in the description. It's patreon.com/Agostino. That's patreon.com/AGOSTINHO. You can watch all of my Patreon content for as little as $1 per month. I've got a $1 tier. I think it's up to like 1,000 people to get on there and stuff. So don't worry. There's plenty of spaces on there. So get involved. You can watch all my content on there for $1 forever. $1 forever. I think there's about 1,000 spaces left there. Make sure you jump on it. And there's obviously other tiers as well if you want to support other ways too. But I'm going to be dropping way more Patreon content going forward. So make sure that you're locked into the Patreon for my reactions on these kind of comedy specials. Because some of them I would love to upload on YouTube, but you can't upload comedy special reactions on YouTube, especially ones that have been filmed on HBO and stuff because of copyright and whatnot. So check out my Marc Maron panicked reaction over there on fucking Patreon at patreon.com/Agostino. Link should be in the description. Now, I watched it and I did enjoy it for the most part. I thought it was probably one of the better specials that I've watched. As I mentioned in the caption there, I gave it a 7 to 8 out of 10. I thought for his style, specifically for his style, which is kind of a laid back talking story way of doing stand-up comedy that isn't set up and punchline. I thought he did a really good job of kind of engaging you and holding your attention throughout the entirety of the comedy special. Now, I do have to forewarn you, the special itself is probably about an hour 10 minutes in runtime. So it's not a short special, but he starts off straight away on the bang. He doesn't come in soft or anything. He hits you hard over the head. And if anything, when I was watching it, doing the reaction, I think it generally held my attention without having to check my phone, without having to fucking browse Twitter and shit. It kind of held my attention for about 30 to 40 minutes, which I think is pretty good in this day and age, especially with my dwindling attention span due to things like fucking social media. Marc Maron special being able to hold my attention for 30 to 40 minutes was a really good job. So I really recommend you check it out, especially again for his style. I think he did a good job in that way. It's filmed really well, lit really well. It's in a biggish, smallish type of theater room. You can kind of feel it being like an intimate place that he's kind of recording it at. When it comes to the content, he kind of delves into a lot of his own psyche, some of his own traumas and stuff, the struggles that he's kind of dealt with. And I really do recommend you check it out. And if anything, I think that Theo Von clip that's gone viral, where he kind of speaks about Theo and says, oh, you know, Theo would probably interview Hitler if he had him on, if Hitler was still alive and show his podcast. I think that might be one of the weakest jokes on there. I'm not going to lie. I made a point to say in the fucking Patreon review that I thought the Theo Von shot, the Theo Von mention was a little bit of a easy target. He's a low-hanging fruit. I think I would have preferred him to go out Rogan on the special, because he's going out Rogan now with these clips and stuff, that, or these interviews he's doing on other podcasts to promote his special. But I thought going after Theo Von was a little bit easy, you know? That was a little bit easy to go after Theo. I think I would have preferred him to go after somebody else. But hey, he did it. But I still think that joke was the weakest part of the special. It wasn't that great. I think the clip online makes it look like it's a lot more poignant than what it was. But there's way more better jokes on that special apart from that Theo Von one. But I recommend you check out the special itself on HBO Max. But you can check out my review, my reaction via the Patreon for as little as $1 per month. Link should be in the description via the description down below. But one thing I wanted to mention about the Marc Maron sort of promo run has been him going on appearing on loads of different fucking podcasts, right? And one particular podcast that he went on interview that I thought was really fucking good was the one that he did on Bad Friends. He sat down with the Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino and essentially ripped into Joe Rogan, ripped into LA comedy scene. I spoke about this previously a little bit the night before on my Random Show channel. Make sure you check out the Random Show channel for all your stand-up comedy, random show news, kind of reaction type of stuff. Link should be in the description too, or link should be on my channel page. You'll find a Random Show channel there. RS with the blue background. Check it up, subscribe, become a member, all that good shit. And what got me thinking about this rant in general was that as much as I like Marc Maron, as much as I like his perspective, as much as I think he's a breath of fresh air, a part of me also decided to think to myself, like, I wonder if all this angst, is all this frustration, all this pissed off energy, all this grumpiness he has towards Joe Rogan and all those guys is mostly because he's not really involved. Like, he's kind of involved, but not really. Like, he even mentions, I think in this particular clip, that he started doing comedy at the same time Rogan did. They started podcasting the same time. Right, Rogan became who he's become now. He's likely to become like the first probably podcasting billionaire based on the deals that he's gotten from fucking Spotify. I think the first one was like 300 mil, the second one was 200 mil. You know, it's only going to go up and up over the years. So you'd imagine he's probably close to, if not already, a podcast billionaire. And Marc Maron, you know, he's done well for himself, don't get me wrong, but he's having to kind of, you know, end his podcast because he's kind of burned out a bit. And, you know, he's still very, I'm sure he's still a rich guy. But it must be a bit of a mind fuck in that way. And the fact that he started comedy at the same time as Rogan and shit, but he's never really been kind of embraced within that kind of LA comedy scene kind of world or group. He's not really a part of the Ari Shafirs. He's not a part of the Tom Seguras or the Burt Kreishers. He's not a part of all those LA guys that started with Rogan. Even Joe Diaz when he was still there. He was kind of always on his own little island. So I wonder if all this frustration, all of this pissed off energy, all of this angst, all of this, whatever coming from Marc Maron towards Rogan and the Comedy Store is less to do with him actually feeling like he has to make a stand and talk, and kind of have a difference of opinion when it comes to how they kind of portray comedy and that kind of bro side of things, or if it just comes down to a little bit of jealousy and envy because he's not involved. And I wonder if in general, all hate, when it comes to a scene, when it comes to a subculture, myself included, when it comes to DJ stuff and club stuff, I'm starting to wonder now, reflecting on this clip and myself, if all hate is somewhat rooted in some form of jealousy or not being invitedness or whatever that term is. Like, can you be objective? Can you really be objective in your hate, in your criticism for something? Or are you always just talking from a place of you not being involved? And once you're involved, suddenly, because I've noticed that a lot with these guys, once they get involved, they shut the fuck up. Look at Luis J. Gomez. Luis J. Gomez had a lot to say about Brendan. For the longest time, for the short time, he was like one of the fucking champions, one of the good guys on the T-Fat-K subreddit. Big up the homeless cats, right? They were championing Luis J. Gomez because he always throw these little slick jabs at Brendan Schaub. All right? But then as soon as Rogan made it very clear that he would not have Luis J. Gomez on his podcast if he kept going at Rogan, which was clear because, he'd invite Legion of Skanks on the JRE, but he would never invite Luis J. Gomez. He'd have fucking Dave Smith on there by himself, not Luis J. Gomez. He'd have Big J. Okerson on there by himself, but not Luis J. Gomez. And as soon as Luis J. Gomez started to talk favorably about Brendan, invite Brendan on Legion of Skanks, invite Brendan on fucking Skankfest, suddenly things changed and you start seeing fucking Luis J. Gomez all up on fucking JRE. So I wonder if that's what happens to all people. You talk very badly about people because you slightly want to be them. You're kind of, maybe Luis J. Gomez was always jealous of Brendan's access, of Brendan's proximity, Brendan's involvement in the comedy scene. He was just jealous that he had that spot and he didn't. And in the moment he got involved, suddenly, guess what? Brendan's not such a big issue. I don't really care. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to move on. So I wonder, can you hate and be objective, or is all hate rooted in some form of jealousy? Let's hear Marc Maron on Joe Rogan and LA comedy scene.
Yeah, you can fly free on this show.
I feel that. I feel safe with you guys.
You should.
That's when I was driving over here. I thought this is going to be a supportive, safe room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to us.
Say whatever you want.
No, I got nothing. Do you guys have a plan?
Yeah,
we do.
The yammering?
We do. We got a plan for the yam.
Yeah. The question to me is, why would you end? I'm going to say something before I even say that. I want to say that I feel like there's two people that are the pioneers in terms of comedy that inspired this generation to do it, which is a generation below you.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
it's you,
just one below me,
and Mario Batali.
For sure.
His podcast is so good.
I think we probably all owe it to Tom Green.
Yeah, we do actually.
I did Tom. Yeah, right. Tom was first.
With the video podcast.
With the video,
yeah. But yeah, me and who else?
Rogan.
Okay.
Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, Texas. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meatheads.
Dude,
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meathead. It's fucking crazy. Such an accurate description and insult towards Rogan fans. That's up included, actually. So big up Marc Maron. Ouch, but fair.
Disdain.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
something tells me you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something
tells me you are.
I don't. It's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing, and maybe it's my assumption that his army of healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of Healthy Fellas is so good.
You just got to, got to stay in, keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's a shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the Austin shelf life is going to be?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point, it's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore. And they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes? And like immigrants, okay, well, they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they're down.
Why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now there's a question.
Wow, Mark.
He comes in swinging.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know the last time I talked to Joe. People for a while were like, why don't you go on Joe's show? And my answer to that is like, why?
Why? Right. Well, it doesn't service you.
Well, no, I don't need.
It would be good for the fans, though. It'd be good for the fans to see two titans of podcasting and comedy coming together. And if anything, it just freshened up the show. Rogan's got too many sycophants, too many groupies, too many cheerleaders. He needs a bit of friction. Actually, his show is way better when he has somebody on that opposes his opinions. Like, some of the best episodes I remember were the ones early on when Rogan was like, he's still super weed man, marijuana man, legalize it man type of shit. But when he was really heavy into, cannabis and all that malarkey and talking about its effects and its benefits and how it fucking aids jiu-jitsu and helps him to achieve flow state, it was quite cool, quite funny, very interesting, and a hell of a fucking watch experience to see someone come on who Rogan had no idea this person was, kind of against, marijuana and legalization in general. That made for a good back and forth, because Rogan had his tidbits and information and research, that person had theirs, and they kind of go back and forth and kind of agree to disagree. That actually made for a better episode. But over time, Rogan just got bored of, or just got annoyed about having to defend himself, explain himself. So he just started bringing on people that agree with his position, which has kind of made this podcast a bit stale, to be honest, because it was far more interesting when he had that bit of pushback and shit. I know his show isn't about that, but it is far better especially when it comes to Rogan. You kind of get a better side of him when he's having to kind of debate or kind of argue his position, as opposed to just having people on there talking about how great the Comedy Store was and how much of a legend Mitzi Shaw was and all that malarkey.
Him, and also there's no way for me to, like, what am I going to talk to him about? And there's no way for me to sort of not walk out of there and be like, all right, I guess I'll look at my phone. Oh fuck, how long is this going to go on for? Right.
But it's like Martin Luther King and Malcolm.
How long is that going to go on for? Is he referring to the length of the pod, or is he referring to the hate he might get after the episode is dropped? Jesus Christ, that's hilarious.
X made me meeting at one point. Don't you think? Let's go historical with it.
Say it again.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King meeting. They met at one point.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. And
pioneers of the civil rights movement.
Which one is Malcolm X and which one's Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
I don't really think
that's not Martin Luther.
The analogy doesn't work.
No.
He's
so bad at analogies. Let him keep going with this. It's going to get funnier as it goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go with more analogies.
He's like, this is if Hitler's and Goebbels had to hang out off the work site.
Why, one of those is right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think you got half that analogy.
Okay, yeah.
See,
why could you just once support me? You know what I mean? With an analogy.
Shut up.
But that was just wrong. It brought race into it in a very profound way.
Yeah.
And I would.
Mine was angled and funny and distant. It went somewhere else.
Yeah, I think on one side of that, there's a guy that's aggressively fighting for the civil rights of victimized white people. God knows they've had it hard enough for a long enough time. But
has Joe asked you?
No.
Oh.
Here's a better angle.
Adam used to go like, hey, what? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big up Adam Egot, by the way. Consummate professional, consummate businessman, consummate producer, always looking, to make the best combo and shows and shit. That would have been great if they did it. I'm sure they did. I'm sure there was an episode of Rogan where Marc Maron was on it. It was like an early one. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing an episode. Maybe I'm misremembering it, but he was on it before. Am I bugging out? Weren't they ever on the show together, or was not? He's never been on the JRE ever. I'm pretty sure I saw some episode of them together, or maybe somebody maybe it was a skit or compilation or something. But that would have still made for a great episode if they did end up eventually sitting down. I would have loved to have heard it.
Why?
Well, because it's interesting being someone like us on the outside of it and watching you.
Oh,
guys.
you got one foot in, baby.
Well, yeah, it's right up your ass.
Yeah, that's the other foot.
I think what it is for me is I would love to see you guys chat, but I'd love to see you guys chat in neither of your arenas. It would be the only way it'd be legit. Because if you have to go to his show, not going to work.
Very good.
He has to go to your house, not going to work. You guys would have to do this thing.
It's like setting up a mob meeting
here.
No, seriously.
They should do it here.
Moderated.
You should do it here at Bad Friends.
They should do it here.
It would piss both of them off so fucking much.
Yeah.
Look at the art behind them.
I know.
It would just be of us.
This would be good. Neutral ground.
I don't think that's true. I don't think they have to go on a neutral ground platform to make the interview, whatever conversation work. They just have to talk to each other. You know, that's it. Just them talking to each other. I think him and Rogan will be perfectly fine. I don't think it'll be an issue. I don't think Marc Maron's easily intimidated. I don't think Rogan will like back down from, you know, jumping on him and shit and calling him out on some of his bullshit. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine with Smoke. But I think it would make for a very entertaining show. Maybe they wouldn't end up being best of friends after the fact, but I think it'd make for a very entertaining show. Who knows? They might clear the air.
You do have to understand something. I have known Joe since he started.
Yeah.
I mean, literally since he first set foot on stage.
In Boston,
I was there.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember my initial issues where there was another guy, Kevin Flynn, who's out of the game. And he was like a soccer jock. And at that time, Joe was like a regional kickboxing champion. And my initial reaction was like, what are these guys doing here?
Calling Joe a regional kickboxing champion is very insulting, I think. I don't think he says that in a congratulatory, praiseworthy, hero way. Like he's mocking him. A regional kickboxing champion. It's fucking crazy. Oh.
This isn't for them. It's like Louis once said to me years ago when Jay Moore started in New York when he was like 17. He's like, it's not for them. It's not for the good-looking guys. It's not for the jocks. This is for us rejects, us guys who don't fit in. That's what comedy was.
By the way, it was Jay.
And by the way, that's the same example. That's the same insult. That's the same criticism that Eric Griffin once had about Brendan Schaub, who's now doing a show with Brendan. And again, another example of like, he just wasn't involved. Eric Griffin wasn't involved. He didn't get the rub. He wasn't in Rogan's inner circle. He wasn't in this LA comedy scene inner circle. He was insulting Brendan a bit because he didn't like that he was this jock, this big handsome guy that was taking over comedy. And then as soon as he got friendly with Brendan, guess what happened? He completely shut the fuck up. As soon as Brendan started paying his wages, as soon as Brendan started paying his invoices, suddenly the criticism against Brendan not being, an actual true comedian and not needing it and taking up space for all the freaks and the weirdos completely went away. So again, it leads me to kind of believe that maybe even myself, maybe some of the criticism that I have for some people is sometimes rooted in jealousy and not being involved. Because you want to slightly be involved, you want to slightly be where they're right, you're overly critical about it, and then once you get involved, suddenly the criticism you have for that person dissipates or disappears completely.
More that good looking? Am I crazy?
He was cute back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but let's be honest. Let's go back to the truth tree then. Marc Maron is a good-looking guy.
Not always. I was
Marc
a little
Maron,
sweaty.
You're a good dude. Why are you getting TV shows every fucking second, man?
And we'll get to
Not
that.
for my looks.
We'll get to that in a second.
It is. There's competition. There's your face. I've seen you on screen.
No, he's a handsome guy. It's annoying.
You have great angles on your face.
When you were young.
Now.
Yes, you're right. You matured. When you were young, you were hideous. You were a hideous man to look at.
I was sweaty and bloated and long hair. But getting back to Joe, look, I imagine the thing with Joe, is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized, and I think that he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like, what they like, but on the outside of that, most of the sort of sensitive weirdos that we all grew up with in comedy have been sort of pushed aside. I think that's a bit unfair to label it or to put that all at the feet of Rogan.
I think that mostly to do with the advent of podcasts and shit and stand-up comedy podcasts, and the fact that a lot of comedians have had way more success in those podcasts than they did in their actual stand-up career. So they're focusing more on that and less on their material, which leads to substandard stand-up material such as specials and shit, right? And then of course most people, or some people, are getting kind of pushed forward or blowing up or becoming more successful based on their crowd reaction clips are all the vogue now, and kind of in trend and kind of get virality very quickly. So it's no surprise that the machine is kind of rewarding them for slop, which is essentially the podcast content and the crowd work stuff. And the slop is also allowing them to maybe be more financially, you know, independent, stable, wealthy than they've ever been in their entire life. So it's no surprise that they're constantly feeding into that and not actually going back to what brought them to the dance, which was actually the stand-up comedy itself. But I don't think you can levy all of that, all of the ill that comes with stand-up on Rogan's feet. And as my conclusion, as I made the other day on the stream, on Random Show the other day, I also think maybe, much like DJing, much like clubbing in general, maybe as an art form, stand-up comedy is very, very, very overrated. Right? Its position in society, its purpose, the mysticism around it, the process, whatever. Maybe it's incredibly overrated. And now that the curtain's been pulled back, now that we've seen how the sausage is made, as Brendan would say, people are now realizing, oh, no, it's not that special, not that great, you know? Especially some of these top quote-unquote comedians, the most popular ones, the biggest ones out there, dropping specials and then mostly being doo-doo. It's sort of like, okay, you know, is this really as hard as they're making it seem as? Is this really that difficult? If this guy's a top guy, then what does that say about the whole industry, you know? I think that's what's happening. I think people are starting to realize and wake up that these guys aren't that great, or aren't as great as they said they were. Especially since specials now are becoming easily accessible. People are putting up clips of themselves doing bits on social media. That was never a thing, right? That was against the rules. You'd always kind of leave that to the special. People had to come and see you perform. You never put teasers or clips up. Nothing ever. So this is a whole new world we live in. So I wouldn't put it all on Rogan's feet. It's a bit unfair.
And the space for them has become limited, and it's a little.
But there was a time though that alt comedy was the
not alt comedy. I'm not even talking about the alt people. Okay, I'm talking about just like interesting stand-ups,
right?
You know, weirdos.
Yeah, like Brent Weinbach has a great special.
Sure,
out. I think he's so weird.
Joe Mandy.
Yeah, Joe Mandy.
You know, and now it's like kind of this. You know, there's this cultural idea of what comedy is.
But anyway, to end it there as well, that's another point I think they also need to take responsibility for. A lot of these guys also buy into the algo. So all these guys that they mentioned, those two guys they mentioned, I don't know if they're women or whatnot, but I've never heard of them. I only heard of them now. So if that's the case and you feel like real comedy isn't being promoted or pushed, have those guys and girls on your fucking show. Stop inviting the same old circuit of like 10 to 15 guys that you know are going to get you views onto your show. Stop repeating guests. Let's get on some fresh talent. Let's get on some new faces. Let's actually get on some actual quote-unquote comedians to kind of freshen things up again and to give people a perspective on like what actual true comedy sounds like. But they don't do that because they're more worried about the views, they're more worried about the sponsors, virality, blah, 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 money, all that sort of stuff. But if they were actually about it and they felt like the game was kind of, you know, going by the wayside and they wanted to kind of correct course, they would invite on their shows, on their podcasts, unknown, you know, maybe comedians who haven't got the recognition that they fucking deserve, who are on the come up on their shows, who are releasing specials soon, who are working diligently in the background, who have been putting in stellar performances on the stage that they've been impressed by and talking. That's how it used to be back in the day. That's how it used to be. Especially on Rogan, you invite on some random person from Boston that he was fucking in love with growing up. You invite some random person he fucking bumped into at the comedy store one day they thought was good. But now there's not such a thing. Now they're just all about this, you know, the friendship group, politicians, oligarchs and shit. It's just fucking annoying. But again, I wonder if all of this hate from Marc Maron is just steeped in the fact that he isn't involved himself and he desperately wants to be involved. I wonder if that's actually what's going on here. I wonder if that's the truth of what's actually going on here. But I guess we'll find out very soon. At some point, at some freaking point. Moving on. I've also been kind of glued and entertained by this fucking drama regarding Some Ordinary Gamer. I'm sure some of you guys have heard about it. If you haven't heard about it, Some Ordinary Gamer, aka Mutahar, has been exposed by the random channel that basically blew the lid on the fact that Mutahar might not be a engineer. He calls himself a computer engineer in general. That's part of his kind of a lore, part of his kind of identity. And essentially, this random YouTuber decided one day, just woke up. He just woke up one day. I don't know where the site is. Maybe it's on YouTube. I got to find it. Maybe I can find some content for Brendan and all that T-Pack stuff to kind of talk about. But he pulled up some website, was able to get all the transcripts of all your YouTube videos. Because, you know, when you upload a YouTube video, if you go into the description box and you click more, you can see there's a button that says show transcript. So every YouTube video that's uploaded gets automatically transcribed. So you can also search for it via words. Now, of course, it helps that you pronounce words correctly, but you can essentially look for keywords and episodes and highlight bits of the show that you want to kind of, you know, view and whatever. So this person, random person, woke up one day, decided to go through Mutahar's, you know, YouTube library archive of videos, go through all the transcripts, and basically highlighted all the segments and sections where he says he's an engineer. Every bit, every page, every place where he mentioned he's an engineer, this freaking YouTuber clicked on and been dissected with a fine freaking tooth comb. It's so funny, so unhinged, so funny, but it makes all the sense because in the end, he essentially exposed the fact that Mutahar might not be the fucking, you know, savant engineer guy that he kind of claims to be. And it also made me realize, also made me think to myself, like, lying is very, very underrated. And it gets rewarded nowadays. Being a scammer, being a liar gets rewarded in a really, really, really big way. And I'm wondering in my life whether or not I missed out on some opportunities. I missed out on some big bags by not being a proper liar, you know? By not being a proper liar. That would have really flipping helped me out in life. Instead, you know, I kind of tried to do the best thing, tell the truth, live by some sort of moral code, whatever it may be, and look at what I have to show for it, right? Not that much. But this Mutahar guy has been lying for what seems like, I guess, 10 plus years about his fucking engineering credentials. And now look at him. Now look at him. Now look at him. Let's check out his video. It's courtesy of Harmful Opinions. I'm also going to play the latest one he just dropped now. It says Mutahar's gay cheating scandal. But let's check the first one out, which is the Harmful Opinions, courtesy of this guy called... Is it Harmful Opinions? No, he's the one? No, it's not the one. That's the wrong one. It's not Harmful Opinions. It's Nick... what's his name again? Nick Andros. Big up Nick Andros. He's the one that first kind of blew the lid open on this Mutahar thing. It's a fucking great video. It's 40 minutes long. I won't play the whole thing. I'll play, like, you know, the first kind of 10 minutes and shit, so you can kind of get an understanding of what's going on. But the title of the video is, as you can see there, Mutahar has been a fake engineer for 10 years. For 10 years. Let's check out Nick Andros' video. Big up Nick Andros.
Welcome, I'm Nick Andros. If you've been following Some Ordinary Gamers or Mutahar's behavior the past year or so, you might have noticed that something is up. He quits Twitter suddenly.
By the way, I love the fans. I love the fans. I love the viewers. Somebody noticed he's been acting erratic. Like, and then that's what led to this whole expose. You can't hide anything on the internet, man. You really can't hide anything off the internet. Undefeated.
Causing people to panic, and then rejoins Twitter quietly months later. He says he won't buy a Nintendo Switch 2, and then instantly buys one when it comes out. There was even that time he disavowed his longtime friend, Naxtaku, but then he took the video down and apologized. Apparently he overreacted to a video criticizing him for watching lowly hentai with Naxtaku, and not for anything else.
Wait, you showed porn in those videos?
That's a video I'm still working on, and this video you're about to watch right now is a little appetizer I've cut out of its body of research, because it was getting too bloated as it is. Anyway, despite saying he would quit drama, not only did Mutahar return to drama, he decided to join forces with Ethan Klein to go after Hassan Piker. It's an odd choice because Ethan doesn't exactly have the highest opinion of Mutahar.
Do you have the part?
Oh, by the way, big up Ethan Klein, man. Like, sometimes the worst person you know makes a great point, right? I'm not the biggest fan of Ethan Klein, but somehow Ethan Klein was able to smell the bullshit too early on. Ethan Klein smelled the bullshit of Mutahar early on, so props to Ethan Klein for realizing something that I hadn't even noticed about the whole engineer thing.
Where Mutahar runs outside with a gun, I don't, but
I'm like, dude, these people are insane. Boogie's not even the craziest one in that room still. There's a point where Mutahar goes, oh shit, is someone stealing my car? And he runs outside with a gun. And then he comes in 30 seconds later and goes, oh no, it's chill, it's just my brother.
Oh my
like,
God.
This pseudo badass weird fucking shtick he's doing is not it. And frankly, he's so mean-spirited and nasty, and he has this weird thing where he needs to act like cool and that he's so successful and rich. He tells Boogie, dude, why don't you upload more? I upload every day and YouTube's not even my job. I was like, shut the fuck up, bro.
Honestly, how did he sense that? I wonder if it's because he himself is a piece of shit. I wonder if that's what's happening. Because Ethan Klein's a bit of a piece of shit himself, whether he was able to smell it. Like, okay, this guy is, you know what I mean? He's running with this whole like, oh, I've got a real job. It's not even my real. How is he able to figure? Because I always bought that line, hook, line, and sinker. Because I've done YouTube and also had a full-time job. You know, it's not that difficult to do. It's hard, don't get me wrong, to balance the two things, but it's not that difficult. So I wonder how he was able to sniff it out. Like, oh, this line, he's running with this line too much. And I guess it's something that I should pay attention to. But when somebody keeps repeating something ad nauseum about themselves, like a trope, like a little saying, like a little mantra, like a, you know, like, oh, I'm just honest guy. You know, I say it as it is. You know, when a guy starts saying that sort of stuff, you know they're full of shit. I say it as it is. You know, I'm a straight down the line type of guy. You know, I don't like to fucking you know, when there's someone keeps on overly stating something and it becomes like a little chorus, like a little song, it's usually because they're trying to hide something. I think someone said that recently, right, about Trump, right? Like everything he kind of shouts about is either an insecurity or projection. And I think sometimes liars sometimes do that when they keep repeating a little tidbit about themselves. Like, oh yeah, YouTube isn't even my main thing. And I still upload every day. I got like, do you even have a job though?
Bro, I think he thinks his real job is being a day trader. I might be wrong about that, but I mean, that's pretty funny. But like, yes, it is. Shut up, bro. Uploading every day. Ugh, I really got turned off by Mutahar in that one, man. Really did.
So Mutahar is a poser and he lies about having a job out.
That's a good point though, because it's almost like he's trying to claim double stolen valor. He's trying to claim the credit for uploading every day, but he's also trying to claim the credit for not being a full-time YouTuber. Like, he wants to appear cooler. Like, I'm not even a full-time YouTuber, but I still upload every day. But how can you upload every day and not call yourself a YouTuber? Like, by default, you are one because you're uploading every day. So yeah, I get why that would annoy kind of Ethan Klein, who is admittedly, you know, a proper YouTuber person who kind of wears it proudly. And he is fucking, you know, Mutahar acting like he's over it and too big for it.
Outside of YouTube. Those are pretty heavy accusations. But who has the time to watch through over a decade of videos and streams to check if he's telling a consistent story? I certainly don't, but I know a much faster way of achieving the same end result with only a few hours of effort. I can just search all of his video transcripts at once for certain keywords and timeline the claims he's made.
I play video games and scratch my balls most days when I'm not working. I wake up, I scratch my balls, I do my job, and then I fucking play some video games. I wake up, scratch my balls, play some Mass Effect, make a video, and like do some of my stock work, and that's it. I wake up, I scratch my balls, and I play some Mass Effect, okay? I wake up every day, I do my job, I scratch my balls, I play around with Linux, some video games, and that's my life, dude.
Before we get into it.
Honestly, man, lying pays, man. Honestly, lying pays, man. Like, I should have been a liar, man. I should have lied about my come up, should have lied about my background, lied about everything, bought views, bought all that shit, man. Lying works, man. Honestly, it really does pay. It really fucking does.
Isn't this stalking? Isn't this a violation of privacy? No. I am going by information Mutahar has made public through pieces of media he's voluntarily published on his YouTube channel, or public media appearances he has consented to. I'm also using information from a video that shows his LinkedIn page, which is something he seems to be cool with. He can do whatever he wants in his private life, but if he's...
Actually, let me check that. What's LinkedIn
something
page?
He seems to be cool.
What's his LinkedIn? Look at his LinkedIn page. Look at his LinkedIn page. Blizzard. Apparently he worked at Blizzard Entertainment. All right, mate. For 6 years. He was an automation engineer at Amazon Games for 8 months. He was a cybersecurity specialist at Eagle Research Group for 1 year. director of strategy and off-brand for 1 year. And what else? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Come on, man. He worked at Blizz Entertainment. All right, mate. All right, mate. Whatever you say.
Cool with. He can do whatever he wants in his private life, but if he's claiming to be a doctor or an engineer to make his perspectives more valuable to an audience, validating the truthfulness of these claims about his life become a matter of public interest. If a History Channel was receiving undisclosed funding from a foreign state, publishing that information would be in the public interest, even if that knowledge was gained through violations of privacy. Violating someone's privacy to humiliate them by exposing their porn browsing habits would not be in the public interest. But I haven't gone there, and I don't need to. I also completely disavow and denounce any kind of harassment or actual stalking behavior. Based on my findings, Mutahar has consistently claimed that YouTube isn't his job.
Hey, YouTube isn't my job. Thank God my job isn't YouTube. YouTube is not my job. 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 I use YouTube as a hobby. This is not a job for me, okay?
You know what's weird about this whole YouTube is not my job fucking soliloquy that he goes on? Like, why does he think it makes him look cool when he looks like a YouTuber? He looks like a neckbeard. He looks like a gamer. Like, it's not as if if there was somebody that looked cooler or who had a bit about them and stuff, and they did that whole line, that whole fucking, you know, whatever, that whole chant about not being a YouTuber and shit and not being their job, that'd make more sense. But he looks like a geek. He looks like a nerd. Like, why wouldn't you embrace that? Like, if anything, YouTubers allowed nerds and geeks, myself included, to have a platform and to kind of, you know, be able to sort of like, you know, come into yourself and be confident and kind of speak about things you're into, find your little niche, So it's really odd that he kind of has this kind of like thing. Maybe it's because of his environment, where he lives, where his upbringing. But it's interesting that he feels like he needs to clarify that he's cooler than a YouTuber. Like, I just do it for fun, guys. It's like, bro, you look like one though. You look like a nerd. You look like a geek. Like, no one's ever gonna think of you as like a Chad or a bro, you know? No matter how many guns you have and shit. Like, no one, I mean, like, it's an interesting kind of like melange. He's both a bit of a geek, but he also wants people to think like he's a Chad or bro type. It's like, well, you don't look like one. It's a weird one.
Works a regular 9 to 5.
Like, I work a regular job every day. I go to my office, I work, I come home, I cut together the video that I recorded the night, you know, or 2 nights or whatever before, and I post that on the internet. It is a therapeutic, fun thing.
But I guess it explains kind of like this style that he goes for, right? With the hat backwards and stuff, right? With the baseball hat backwards. Because I think you get it a lot with like, a good example of this is Wings of Redemption. This is a really strange connection. Wings of Redemption, one of the consummate locals out there. DSP is still the top local. Hopefully he fucking loses everything. Big up DSP, fuck DSP. But Wings of Redemption has this thing where he talks about the Braves, right? His favorite NFL team. He talks about, is it baseball? I don't know, whatever they are, right? The Braves. He talks about following them, watching them, has a jersey, one of the jerseys framed up in his fucking room. And I feel like sometimes him talking about the Braves, him sometimes overly talking about cars and parts and stuff, and repairs he's gonna get done, and how much mileage he's done in this and this truck and this Camaro. I feel like it's a way for him to kind of like flex or try and pretend he's a man's man, you know, like a Chad and a bro. Like, he does it with that sort of stuff. So I wonder if this is Mutahar's version of it, by saying, "Oh, I'm not a full-time YouTuber." Has his hat on backwards, you know, jumps up when he hears the sound outside and goes to get his fucking airsoft gun. Like, I wonder if that's all part of it. Like, he's not happy just being a geek or nerd as he looks like. He wants to be regarded as somebody with a bit of edge to him, and to kind of show that he's a guy's guy. So one of the ways is by following a sports team and being into sports and wearing kind of like new era hats and shit. It's like, I wonder if that's all part of it, because I've recognized some similarities in Wings in that way, in the way he kind of talks about the sports that he likes.
For me.
So what is that job? If you ask Mutahar's fans, they think he's a cybersecurity expert, an IT professional, a video editor. Ethan said day trader. There seems to be an awful lot of uncertainty about this definitely real job that Mutahar has. Mutahar's also insisted throughout his career that he is an engineer.
I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm only an engineer. Oh, I'm an engineer. So I'm an engineer. I'm just an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm just a fucking engineer. I'm a goddamn engineer. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. As an engineer, being an engineer, I don't have to tell you as an engineer. I'm just a dumb engineer as an engineer. My engineer asked, but as an engineer, so I'm just a fucking dumb fucking engineer. Like I can tell her, like I'm an engineer. But I'm an engineer. As an engineer, I'm an engineer. As somebody that is an engineer, as an engineer. I'm saying I'm the number one engineer as an engineer. As an engineer. All right, as an engineer, I'm just an engineer. Speaking of somebody that is an engineer, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer.
But there's multiple types of engineers, so what kind of engineer?
Honestly, that engineer supercut is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it kind of reminded me of like, oh yeah, like he kind of played into the stereotype. You know, it's sort of like reverse racism. Because he knows what he looks like. Even though he tries to play this whole Chad bro thing, he knows what he looks like, right? He looks like the kind of guy that you would see at a fucking phone repair shop, internet cafe type of shit. So he kind of plays into the fact that he also looks like the kind of guy that you would befriend at your company, who works in product, who is a part of the fucking dev team and shit, who's responsible for this and that on the website, maybe works in IT in your university. So he kind of plays into that trope, that stereotype, that avatar, so people can think that he's, you know, an engineer. And then he obviously says it again and again and again. And he's benefited greatly from it, because some of the topics that he speaks about concerning tech and shit, because he comes from this quote unquote engineering background, because he works in that field full time, it lends more credence, more value to what he has to say. So he knows exactly what he's doing. And again, like, you know, as the video goes on, the guy kind of proves that he's not really an engineer in the kind of, you know, in the general sense, or in the kind of textbook sense, you know, for lack of a better term. He might be an overall like a vague one, but not really a proper engineer. But he's trying to make it seem like that so that his words hold more value, especially when it comes to talking about computers and other bits of tech and shit. It's pretty egregious, man.
Yeah, is he?
I'm a fucking computer.
And he's been doing this for 10 years, though. So ratings to the guy for holding on to the lie and maintaining that fucking persona, that fucking blurb, whatever, for 10 years. He didn't show an inch of a crack. This guy only noticed because, I don't know, I guess he woke up one day and just got pissed off at Mutahar. Got pissed off that he was changing his mind and he bought a Switch 2 and all this malarkey. But essentially, Mutahar has been keeping on with this fucking lie for 10 years. Pretty admirable in its own way.
Engineer. I'm a computer engineer. Dude, I'm a fucking computer engineer.
I'm a YouTuber. Why are you asking me?
And I'm just like a computer engineer by default.
Like, I'm a fucking computer engineer, and I'm a fucking computer engineer. You want to talk about cyber warfare? I'm a computer engineer by trade. I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer. No, I'm a computer engineer, okay? I'm a fucking computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer.
In the United States, people throw around the word engineer like candy. But in Canada, it's a bit more protected, especially in Ontario where Mutahar lives. Now, I do want to give the disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer or a Canadian.
Oh, and by the way, later on in the video too, he also uncovers that Mutahar says some stuff about his parents, about his dad working on this thing, his mum being an like he's worked on so many tall tales, not even concerning himself, around his whole family. He hasn't come out to dispute these claims or whatever else it may be. If anything, I think there's a clip out there or some talk about Mutahar basically banning the word engineer and variants of that word in his comments on his YouTube channel, which is, you know, very, very telling, because he's obviously seen the stuff on there and he's just kind of avoiding it and hoping it kind of goes away. But Jesus Christ, 10 years of lying about you being an engineer is fucking nuts.
I'm just a guy who looks stuff up online, and based on what I've read, it's actually illegal to call yourself an engineer if you are not a licensed engineer. The Ontario engineering regulatory body, Professional Engineers Ontario, claims to take offense to even titles like software engineer being used instead of software developer, but they do make an exception for terms like train engineer, broadcast engineer, sound engineer, which are not professional engineers in the same way that a computer engineer or a civil engineer would be. Calling yourself a computer engineer to a public audience is like saying that you're a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer. You might as well call yourself a doctor or a therapist. For Mutahar to be a licensed computer engineer, for him to be able to legally call himself a computer engineer or an engineer in general, he would need a 4-year degree, 4 years of training, and to pass the National Professional Practice exam. If he had just a degree, then he could only call himself a computer engineer graduate. This is where things become a little bit difficult, because Mutahar is apparently not just a computer engineer.
I'm a video engineer now. I think I know how this shit fucking works. Speaking out of an engineer, like if I wasn't a computer science engineer, I wouldn't speak about Elon being an idiot. But as an engineer, yeah, I'm gonna call him a fucking idiot because he does do idiotic statements. This is why, as a cybersecurity engineer,
a computer engineer is very much a real thing, but a video engineer or a broadcast engineer isn't a real professional.
I could call myself a video engineer, couldn't I? I could call myself an audio engineer, a video engineer, a graphics engineer, a DJ engineer, a football engineer. Like, what? Honestly, man, like, this is fucking incredible. Like, I'm cringing at these lies, like cringing so hard. But that's the difference between me and him. He's a true killer, a true professional. He just says it with a fucking deadpan face, with all seriousness. He repeats that lie a million times. It becomes truth. Big up fucking God's favorite in the stream chat. You know what I mean? He does not care. It's absolutely brilliant how long he's been holding on to this fucking lie, man. Really, truly remarkable shit.
Engineer. While computer science graduates often work in software development, sometimes called software engineering, computer science isn't an engineering discipline. So computer science engineer doesn't really make sense. Cybersecurity engineer is once again using the word engineer as just a job title. Mutahar clearly wants the prestige of being perceived as an engineer, given that he's been calling himself an engineer for the past 10 years. And he uses this title to make himself more authoritative.
It's like calling yourself a manager when you're managing a team of one, the one being yourself. Like, you know, if I ever got a job and I was a marketing manager and I was the only person on marketing or social media, it's like, are you really a manager, or is that just a title you have to kind of denote your seniority, you know? As in, you know, you're not a fucking, you know, executive or an associate and shit. But it doesn't actually mean you're a manager. You got to actually manage people to be a manager. But here's Mutahar here. I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. And because he looks like the way he does, his face fucking fits, you know, for once. He kind of buys it. And I wonder if he does it on purpose too, by the way. I wonder if he purposely has this kind of disheveled, you know, kind of rough, unkempt look about him, where he looks like the kind of guy that works in product or IT that you've kind of come across in your life, that maybe stays until 8 p.m, who kind of always wears fucking convention t-shirts that are way too small, who always has like free monitors on their desk and shit, standing table. I wonder if he kind of, you know, purposely looks the way he does so people can think, or, you know, hygiene wise or whatever, people think that he is an engineer because he happens to be, you know, of whatever descent he is, and and he looks the way he does. I wonder if that's part of the whole scam as well.
but I'm an engineer. I know how this stuff is going, so I'm not even speaking out of pocket right here, okay? If you
Like, he can't get a skin fade and an earring, can he? He can't get a skin fade and earring. He can't wear a fucking Supreme t-shirt and shit. You know what I mean? He kind of has to have this kind of disheveled look about him in order to kind of run the fucking point home.
want to disagree with me, feel free, but you're actually wrong. As somebody who is a computer, you know, engineer, somebody who understands computer code, for instance, hearing Elon talk about computers and anything code related is actually mind-bogglingly stupid.
It's not clear.
I wonder if Elon's having a little celebratory dance as well. This guy called me stupid is now being revealed as the most stupid because he's not even a fucking engineer.
What kind of an engineer he is. So, what education does he have?
Like, it's a really good explanation of why, like, I picked engineering as, like, the road to go down when I was studying. I'm like...
So, he would have an engineering degree.
I went to university for computer sciences, and that's it. Education background, asking because a lot of CS knowledge. Yeah, well, I did computer engineering when I fucking went to college. That's what I did.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while, and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
Like, I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university, but I'm not going to dog on like school. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to learn to be valuable. Yeah, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, if you're going to be in the STEM field, you need to go to university, okay?
You need to go to university to be an engineer, but Mutahar is a dropout. He has no degree.
Are you a computer science major? Yeah, that's what I went to for college for a little bit, dropped out of it, you know? I feel like there's a weird misconception. People think I'm like some fucking crazy degree holder. It's like, no. No, I would have been way more in fucking university debt if I went down that fucking route.
I sure wonder why people might have that impression.
Is it bad if you don't get a STEM degree? Look, I'm gonna sound biased as fuck, but STEM degrees all the way. I'm gonna sound biased because, you know, as an engineer, like, you know, you want to get the degree that's gonna get you a job, you know, a good job. Not saying other degrees can't, but like, you gotta be smart.
Sometimes he says he didn't always want to be an engineer.
My biggest thing was I didn't really want to be an engineer anyways. Growing up, I didn't really want to do anything. I actually wanted to do law. I didn't go through law. Honestly, I didn't even want to be an engineer when I grew up. Like, I wanted to be a lawyer for the longest time.
The reluctant engineer. The reluctant engineer. But he acquiesced, right? For the betterment of the world and society at large. He answered the call.
Other times he says he's a former engineer.
So like being a former engineer, like I virtualize like everything, so I like contain shit. And
Even an ex-engineer.
The coolest ways possible. I'm like a fucking ex-engineer.
But here's the thing. He's been saying he used to be an engineer, or that he worked as an engineer for 10 years.
I wanted to share sort of my engineering background with you. Okay, I worked as a fucking engineer, all right, before I went into this shit. I think I know this. I also like to mess around with technology. I myself used to be an engineer before I went into the video editing route.
Mutahar started his channel in 2012, the same year he turned 18. By video editing route, he means that he switched careers after his channel began taking off.
And the interesting thing about this whole YouTube stuff is it actually made me change my entire career choice. You know, I never really thought of myself as an individual who, I mean, I expressed talents in film production and everything, and you know, I never really threw myself into it. I did stuff on the side even before YouTube as well. But this really changed me, and it made me more passionate in the whole, you know, video production side too. So now that is my field of choice. Now I work as a video editor. For those of you who don't know what I do outside of YouTube, I do that. I work as a video editor for my own post stuff.
All the programming, cybersecurity, penetration testing work he talks about early on are jobs he supposedly did before he did YouTube.
Anyway, I'll leave it there. I recommend you check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Those of you who are watching this show live via the live stream, I'll put the link for the video in the stream chat. I'm sure some of you guys have already seen it, but definitely recommend you check it out. Big up Nicandros. He absolutely killed it when it comes to the coverage of fucking Mutahar and this crazy, crazy lie about him being a fucking engineer. And it's made me reconsider everything. It's made me reconsider whether or not I should have been lying about being an engineer too. Maybe I should have been lying all this time about my come up, about my history, about my experience, about my accolades, and maybe I would have been in a far better position now if I did so, because Jesus Christ, it seems like all the liars, all the charlatans, all the cheats, all the scammers are winning in a big way in this year, or in this generation that we're living in now, for whatever reason. Who knows why? Maybe we've all had enough because the powers that be are scamming in general, and now we kind of want to have our lick back. I'm not really too sure, but it does feel like scammers in general are winning in a big way. Big up the scammers, big up the scammers. Talking about the scammers, we also got to mention Bobbi Althoff. Big up Bobbi Althoff, who has signed off on her podcast, the Really Good Podcast. Bobbi Althoff, the one who went famous for her deadpan interviews, the one who went famous for interviewing Drake, and was notorious for breaking up with her husband, which seemed like she broke up with her husband in order to kind of pursue this career as being a content creator and whatever else it may be, has decided to end her podcast. Now, some people are hypothesizing it could be because of the dwindling views, the lack of guests and stuff. It could be because of her own controversy and shit. Who fucking knows? Most likely, you would imagine with someone like this, it's probably just based on views. She was probably, you know, getting a certain number of views in the beginning, and obviously that was very dependent on the guest. Over time, as her clout has dwindled, those kind of guests have kind of dried up, and because no one's really there for her, the views have kind of decided to kind of dip, and here we are in this situation. She announced it with an interesting video that she put out. I think this was part of the last podcast, kind of answering questions and shit that she did alongside of her sister, where she kind of announces that the podcast is ending. And in my opinion, I feel like this is a bit of a troll. I don't feel like it's ended. I feel like maybe this chapter of this podcast is ended and she's going to relaunch it under a separate name. But it is an interesting rise and fall that we're witnessing in real time with this girl's career. because she really was on the top of the mountain and suddenly came kind of spiraling down very, 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 very quickly. And I can't work out why, because her face fits, you know, cute white girl. She's got this little stick about her where she's like socially awkward and shit, and maybe has some tism about her. But somehow she ended up fumbling. How did she fumble? Why did she fumble?
At the end of the day, she was good, and I'm going to miss her, and I'm gonna miss. I will miss doing this podcast, and I will miss the money this podcast brought me. As you guys know, this podcast started off just with a girl with a dream to make more money, and I knew
2 mentions of money in this 1 minute clip maybe tell you everything you need to know about maybe why the show didn't survive. You know, I know we all love money and we all want to make money off this sort of thing, but maybe that singular pursuit, that single vision of just only going after the bag is what kind of fucked things up in the long run, in the long term. You know, maybe that's the situation here at hand. Who knows?
When I started that it was going to go places, I didn't know I would fall off as quickly as I did. To be honest, I did think this was going to last a bit longer. But nevertheless, it lasted a minute, and I'm proud of the accomplishments I have, and I'm pretty sad that it has to end like this, but it's okay. Things in life happened. Everything in life happens for a reason, or mostly everything. Kind of not everything. Some things happen in life for a reason. But let's go down memory lane. I want to talk about the guests I had, and just a little recap, you know, of everything.
So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. Her announcing the end of the show, and I guess, you know, not much has been lost because I don't think she really provided that much anyway when it comes to interviews and shit. I think the shtick kind of ran its course pretty quickly. Maybe was Offset after? I'm not too sure what it was, but it felt like she had some really good ones with Offset, Drake, and what's his fucking name? The other guy, I forgot his name, the black dude. And who's kind of got the similar sort of shtick that she has. But after that, it kind of dried up a bit. I don't think I watched a single one after the fact. I remember there was a viral one with Mark, what's his name? With the other guy, Mark something, who's really rich, who's got his feet out and shit. But that's really about it. But I'm also wondering, like, I wonder if part of the reason why she, and this is a reach, this is a big reach. But I wonder if part of the reason why she flopped was all that conversation about her allegedly divorcing her husband and leaving her family. Or her husband divorcing her, actually, if I'm not mistaken, because she was trying to pursue this career and go kind of balls to the wall, you know, all in with it. So she decided to kind of just, you know, commit everything to it and sacrifice her family. I wonder if that's what was the reason, because I think when men do it, no one seems to care. But I think when women do it, people don't respond too well. Men and women either side, I don't think responded too well to this notion that this young lady had essentially abandoned her family in the pursuit for clout, or in chasing the Drake bag or whatever else it may be. I wonder if that played a part in it. I doubt it really, to be completely honest, because, you know, social media audience having a moral compass and shit, and then admonishing someone for it feels a bit rich considering all the content we watch and consume over there on our various feeds. It might have just been a purely a quality issue. The show just was proper shit. I never knew what even the show was called, her podcast. I just see clips on social media. So I think that kind of tells you everything you need to know about that thing. So maybe it just wasn't that good and it kind of ran its course. But, you know, knowing her, she'll definitely get a second, third, fourth chance. That's for sure. I do anticipate her announcing a new show on a new network with money behind her, because there's no way this girl's doing this by herself, by the way. If you think this girl's going to bootstrap her own fucking career and stuff, that's not happening. She's got a taste of the good life. She's been given bags and sponsorships and been able to be on networks and shit. I reckon there's still a good... She still has a couple more deals in her to squeeze out before she becomes completely irrelevant. But I think she will. So don't be surprised if you do see an announcement from her soon with the relaunch of this show, because I think this is just a little bit of a play, you know, to kind of get herself viral again, to kind of get people's attention again. But I think there is definitely something else coming down the pipeline, even if no one wants to hear it or see it. I think that's going to happen. Talking about podcasting, actually, this is some big news. It says Amazon breaks up Wondery Podcast Studio CEO Jen Sargent departs. When a CEO has to leave, that's when you know it's real. I read somewhere, yeah, like over 100 staff were obviously fired, which I think kind of lessens the blow. Having been a part of like mass firings and shit, it does lessen the blow when some of the senior people get let go as well, because it makes you feel like, okay, cool, it wasn't personal. But when it is just like, you know, the regular employees, even if it is 100 of you, you're going to feel like it's very personal against you. Even though there's like sweeping changes, whole departments are fucking being eradicated. When it's not someone in management, you're still going to think it's really, really personal to you. But in this case, I'm just assuming the whole division was floundering and you need to cut back on costs. And if a CEO departs, then you can't really have any complaints. But it does kind of speak about, you know, the broader conversation going on with podcasting and, you know, the bubble bursting and all that malarkey. Cursed Rolling Stone. Let's read some of this blurb. It says, Wondery CEO Jen Sargent is departing the company as it undergoes a broader reconstructing and a push toward video. The podcasting company, which was acquired by Amazon in 2021, will move its narrative podcast studio, which includes Dr. Death, American Scandal, Business Wars, which I listened to, which was really good to be honest, to Audible, and will also see Wondery's Chief Content Officer, Marshall Louis, joining Audible's content team. Damn, so some people kept their jobs, some people didn't. The team responsible for Wondery's creator-led, video-focused podcast shows, such as New Heights and Armchair Expert, will join Amazon's talent services, forming a new organization called Creative Services. By the way, if I was those people, having been involved in reshuffles in companies, I would still be looking for another job. If I was those people who've been moved to other organizations under new banners and shit, I would still look for another job, because your time is going to come soon. Don't be confused and don't think that you're going to last forever. If they've already made those first changes, your time is coming soon. You probably just haven't gotten around to it just yet. Make adjustments now. About 110 people were laid off as part of the organization, according to a person familiar with the matter. Podcasts under the Creator Services team will continue to operate at the studio under the Wondery brand, and will be working with a select number of top creators to drive listenership and unlock broader, long-lasting relationships across Amazon. According to an internal memo from Steve Boone, Vice President of Audio, Twitch, and Games, Matt Sandler will lead that team. LeBron James and his podcast, The Mind Game, which launched in April, are seen as a blueprint for this type of effort. Oh, I bet they are. I bet LeBron's shows are seen as a blueprint. SMH, mate. As the audio and video episodes of the podcast were distributed across, including Prime Video, Amazon Music, and Fire TV channels, the Echo devices and James also act as a spokesperson for Prime Day. The quote: the podcast landscape has evolved and shifted significantly over the past few years. As video podcasting has grown in popularity, we've learned that the creator-led video-integrated shows have different audiences and needs and require distinctive discovery, growth, and monetization strategies compared to the audio-first narrative series. The rise of video has also blurred the lines of what it means a podcast creator. But yo, like, them just figuring this out now is frightening, isn't it? Companies like Wondery and Amazon only figuring out now how important it is to have video component to some of your shows, and maybe steering against the, you know, super high value, high production quality fucking audio narrative fucking pods. It's pretty insane, man. Just realizing it now in 2025. Sargent leaves the company 7 years at Wondery, with the last 4 under Amazon. As a result of all these changes, Jen Sargent will be moving on to pursue new opportunities and will be helping us through the transition of member states. Yeah, I'm sure she will. Additionally, the company is creating a new team responsible for sponsorship advertising across Wondery and Amazon Music, led by Angie Moore. Amy Grabich, and her team, who work on monetizing Amazon Music's live programming, will also move to this team. The podcast landscape has evolved significantly in the past few years, particularly with the rise of video-forward creator-led content. These changes reflect the evolution of streamlining how Wondery integrates further with Amazon. By making these changes, we can better support creators' monetization with their content across multiple channels, help them expand their brand IP, blah, 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 blah. The bubble has well and truly burst, people. The bubble has well and truly burst. Everyone is paying the price. Big cushy jobs that people had are now being essentially blown up into different bits and pieces, and the end is nigh. The end is nigh, and mostly to do with shows that were terrible, so, you know, not that bothered with me in that respect. But it is interesting to observe from afar. It is interesting to observe from afar. Talking about observing from afar, big up Palace. Palace have just dropped their autumn 2025 range. that I wanted to quickly talk to you guys about, because I think some of it is pretty decent. And you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Palace, but I have to, you know, not be a hater and say this stuff isn't too shabby. Still would never wear it, don't get me wrong, but I've seen some bits and pieces here that I wouldn't be too shabby about if I saw some people wearing them in the streets here. So this is courtesy of PalaceSkateboards.com, Palace Autumn 2025 lookbook. The first picture here, I love this belt, by the way. This is a really nice belt. I'm not really the biggest fan of these jersey polo things that everyone's, or this jerseys in general everyone's making now. I feel like the only people that wear streetwear jerseys, or you know, rips and flips of soccer jerseys, are people that don't play football, don't follow football, don't know much about football. You know, I think if you're a real football fan, you're just gonna wear an actual jersey from an actual team, most preferably a team you support. Wearing jerseys from team you don't support is really odd and very lame, corny soccer behavior, in my personal opinion. But I don't really like the streetwear jersey thing. It's not really for me. But I do like that belt. That web belt is really cool. I love that fasten with the double O-rings and shit. I ain't mad at that in the slightest. This jersey here with the frog graphic is also really nice. Oh, not jersey. This fleece actually is fucking beautiful. Nice fluffy fleece with the real tree camo cargos that he's got here, and this orange bucket hat, which I, you know, bucket hats never suit me, so let's leave that there. But that fleece is very cool looking. This ADIRACER jacket is obviously the stand-up piece that everyone's going to be trying to cop this Friday, featuring Matox, by the way. Big up the legend that is Matox modeling here for Palace. It's actually a really good palette. It's actually a really good ADIRACER rendition, because I feel like nowadays, for whatever reason, ADIRACER collabs are a little bit boring. Back in the day when I remember some of the drug dealers and whatever else it may be, bad boys in my area, they used to wear ADIRACER. So back in the day, you could, you know, ADIRACER jackets were like, I don't know, they were super expensive back in the day, hard to get a hold of. But I do remember them being quite fun, the designs. They'd have like super bikes on the back of them. They'd have like massive like designs, emblems, like a watch or something or whatever. They just had really cool designs, but for every reason, the ones that they're reissuing now are kind of boring. So it's kind of cool to see them deciding to, you know, implement some anime and shit with some of these fucking newer retros that they're putting out now, especially the one that Palace are doing there. There's a Panasonic jersey here again that everyone's going to be on, I'm assuming. This Panasonic flip that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be in, but again, I actually play football, so I would actually prefer to actually wear a proper jersey. This bomber jacket is probably one of the standout pieces. This bomber jacket that features the camo sleeves. I'm not sure what you call that. Duck. I'm not sure what that print is called, if it's duck camo or whatever. But it's a pretty interesting flip on a bomber jacket. You've got this corduroy collar here going on. You've also got this nice body here with this washed out pine green effect going on there. You've got the embroidery down the jacket, chest, and then you've got these sleeves that are made up of this duck washed out camo thing going on there. And on the back, you've also got this emblem that says Palace, and it says 2009-2025, and all the locations and shit. And again, it's all embroidered on the back as well, so that's not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. And I'm also not mad at that sweats down below. The sweats down below with the Great British flag kind of are reminding me of like old Lonsdale Sports Direct type of gear, in it. Very chavvy, very, you know, whatever else it may be. This color block jacket is also a favorite of mine that I've seen here. This is I think it was like a down jacket. Is it reversible? Must be reversible. Really cool look here. You've got different block colors. You've got a bit of lavender, gray, pink, and black there. You got the Palace logo on the bottom. It kind of does look like something that you see somebody wearing at Reading and Leeds Festival, with a small little side bag and shit, and some really tiny shorts and a pair of Nike socks or shocks and shit. Don't get me wrong, but it still does look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. This jersey is also really nice as well. This Palabama. That Palabama jersey is absolutely fire, to be honest. That's definitely going to be selling out as well, as is that classic logo on the beanie. I'm not mad at that. I forgot that guy's name. He's a skater, right? Is it Max Power, Max Payne, or something like that? I forgot his fucking name. He was good in that shit as well. Again, there's a Palabama baseball hat as well with it. There's a cool jersey here that kind of reminds me of what would you say, Von Dutchy type of thing, Diesel type of situations there. And you've also got an introduction of a very tattooed, pierced up model here, a little emo of goth. I'm not sure if she works at Palace or if she works at the store, or if this is somebody that works in the head office and shit, or they're trying to branch out and kind of embrace more alternative faces and not make it just all about the lads. But yeah, she's a good look there, freshening things up a little bit. You got this jean suit, which I'm not mad at as well. Again, kind of reminds me of a void jean type of style thing going on there in the blue with the triangles. Kind of looks like hearts that you see on the cards and shit, linked with the Palace logos there on the in between and the diamond little print there. There's a button-up shirt that says Palace on the front. I'm not interested in the slight. It's just too much branding for me. So some of this stuff, this Power Athletics thing, maybe is not that bad, decent. This model doesn't make it look great though because he's kind of short, you know. He kind of looks like a Labubu, doesn't he? He's kind of built like a Labubu, this guy. So maybe he doesn't really model it the best way because his arms are really short and he looks like he's about 4 foot something. But in general, I'm not mad at it. It's kind of like a flip on an old school kind of 80s, you know, style of a jumper without the Ranglan sleeve, nice and boxy fit, marl grey. You can't go wrong with that stuff. Heavy embroidery as well on the front here. So again, good shit from them. Finishing looks good as well on their quality control and shit. You've got a rain jacket that looks there, right? A nice rain jacket. You got this, what's that? Oh, that's actually pretty decent too, right? This zip up fleece thing going on there. There's also a skull cap as well going on here that they've got. You've got, oh, that's that bomber, that kind of a blouson bomber jacket thing isn't too shabby, with the embossed Palace logo on the back there, the Triafeg logo there. You know, some more decent track jackets, decent cardigan, nice t-shirt there. Oh, the ADIRACER in that colorway is absolutely stupid, you have to be honest. That is really fucking good. That is really fucking good. They really smashed it with that ADIRACER, to be honest. Again, if I could wear this stuff I would, but unfortunately I'm gonna die hating this brand forever and ever. There's a, I think that's a Black Sabbath flip, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Black Sabbath flip? Or is that what's that brand called? The guy that looks like a priest and he's wearing all white. Maybe that's maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it's that band. It's a metal band where the guys are dressed up like priests and stuff and they got white makeup on. I think that's a flip of their logo. I think their logo looks like this, but that's pretty decent as well. I ain't mad at that. Not mad at that in the slightest. Matching track jacket there. Yeah, oh, that's the jacket that they was featuring in the orange. Look at that, that's interesting, right? So one of the pockets on the front of this Gore-Tex jacket, I'm assuming this is probably Gore-Tex, has a see-through logo here where you can see your hand as you kind of open the pocket. Maybe you can see the inside of the contents of the pocket as well, which, you know, I wouldn't want, but that's a nice little touch actually. Not mad at that. And look at the hat as well, the baseball hat with the mesh hat with the Palace logo on the front. It's got the ear flaps that go under your fucking chin. That isn't too much of a shabby look as well. I ain't mad at that as well. There's a bowling shirt here with the two horseshoes in the back. It's a really cool logo actually. I ain't mad at that. More track jackets. That track is really good. That tracksuit here, that Panama tracksuit, is not too shabby. Denim jacket, quarter zip fleece thing is not too shabby as well. I ain't mad at that in the slightest too. Not mad at that in the slightest too. Not mad at that in the slightest too. Man, shape up is a bit wonky, but hey, it is what it is. But this is a really nice jumper though. This probably might be one of the best pieces. Very basic and whatever, but I do like that. The blue piping, the color of the gray material here, the mole gray or light gray font here. Nice zip there. The Palace embroidery just below the zip there. I ain't mad at it. The fit looks really good as well. Oh, the jumpers are not too shabby. The jumpers are not too shabby. The jumpers are not too shabby also. You got these jumpers which I guess are sights, right? You got the British jumper here. I think that's Turkey if I'm not mistaken as well. They're not too shabby. You got hoodies here, the shorts, Gore-Tex hats. You got a tracksuit. They got a Jamaica tracksuit, which is interesting. Not too sure what that's about. I'm assuming maybe because the model might be from Jamaica. I'm assuming maybe. But yeah, there's a Jamaica tracksuit. I guess if you're into that sort of shit. There's that's actually pretty decent. That looks like a Barcelona flip actually. There's a tracksuit here that they've done that looks like it's done in Barcelona colorways, or maybe Besiktas. Or maybe there's another cut. What's that? Is it Spartak Moscow? Maybe it's a Spartak Moscow flip. That's actually not too bad. There's a rugby shirt here that the girl's wearing with a lion. Was it lion or dog? No, I think it's a dog embroidery there catching a frisbee, which isn't too shabby too. That's another jacket too, with the piping and the PAL on the side. That's actually a quick, nice little logo flip that they've done that with a PAL. And then there's this jacket. What does that say? Is that MHS? I don't know what the fuck that says actually. Is that MHUA? Mia? Is that Maya? Mina? I don't know what that says there on that fucking bomber jacket, but it's nice though. That pink pops off really, really good. I'm not too mad at that in the slightest. And there's also rotary camo trousers, more tracksuits here, more t-shirts, and there we go for the autumn winter collection. This is going to be available on August the 8th. August the 8th. This is going to be available on August the 8th, which is a Friday. Available in store, EU site, all that malarkey. You know where to check it out. There's also 4 pictures of all the individual items here. Again, the favorite pieces that I think I look hard is this Palace Doraemon Airbricks jacket. Really, really nice. Yeah, not mad at that in the slightest. Also the Quantum patch jacket is really, really hard. Maybe one of the best jackets they put out in a long time. It also comes in green and it also comes in black, but of course the major colorway is this patchwork colorway. That's fucking great. I've also said good things about this jacket, the Plucker jacket in olive, and it also comes in black, it seems like, but the olive color is obviously the best. Also this bossy canvas jacket, which kind of looks very Cave Empty. You know, it kind of looks like something Cave Empty would have made back in the day, so I'm not mad at that in the slightest. This Frogger reversible jacket is also one of the better ones as well they put out in a while. I like that the other side doesn't have an obvious bit of it does have branding there, a little label, but it's not super obvious because the other side has got the Tri-Fay logo, which is a bit too bait. But I do like that. That's not too bad. And then this is the it's Muya. It's Muya. It's more. So I guess Muya is in Muay Thai basically. There's a Muya, maybe it's Muay Thai. I'm not too sure, but there's a Muya jacket, in pink. And what else I mentioned that I liked in there? The pink. Oh yeah, there's the Barcelona jacket, right? Pro Team hoodie. There you go. And I think that's about it when it comes to all the stuff regarding the collection. But I would recommend you check out the entire. Oh yeah, and the belt as well. The belt I said I like, right? The Frogger belt, in orange. Really, 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 really cool. I ain't mad at that, right? With the 2 rings kind of connection there. So make sure you check out Palace for all your needs regarding their autumn collection, because some of it is rather decent, and I implore you to check it out if you can. I implore you to check it out if you can. Talking about things to check out if you can, End have also released details of their new XT Whisper Void Avocado shoe dropping very soon. I love the fact that there's actually some End clothing branding on the tongue, and I think on the insole too. It comes in this really, really beautiful, again, you know, avocado colorway. Nice application of it up here on the upper with this kind of darker gradient on the webbing around, and then the mesh has got this kind of lighter green symbolizing the inside of an avocado, and then you've got this really nice pink lining on the inside, which I'm assuming might denote the seed. That's probably how it's done. Like you got the outsole that's got that darker green that would kind of, you know, denote an avocado that's darker, and obviously a riper avocado, or maybe the inside of an avocado on the mesh, and then an inside one different sort of level in terms of aging, in terms of the green on the webbing, and then I guess the seed is symbolized by the pink, you'd imagine. So really nice. I like how they applied it. It's come out really good. The actual official colorways are agave green, lime cream, and rum raisin, inspired by everyday rituals as a classic British greengrocer. Yeah, that's definitely an everyday ritual, isn't it? Getting a bit of rye bread, getting a little bit of fucking toast on, and trying your best to find the best fucking non-fucking hard avocado you can find in Tesco's, and smashing it all across your fucking piece of toast. I ain't mad at that. And the slices, as you can see there. Oh, I didn't notice that. That's actually pretty cool too. They've actually got a little what you got, a picture of an avocado open, split open on the inside of the insole as well, which is a pretty decent little touch. You've got the Salomon and End insole there, End on the tongue, and you've got the avocado what you call it, picture on the insole, giving it a nice touch. I think that lining is kind of like satin as well, which is a nice little touch as well. And you got the same lining on the underneath of the tongue per se, and I'm assuming this tongue is probably 3M too, so you get this nice hit walking down the street. You see your End logo kind of blaring off there in the distance. which I'm not too mad at in the slides. I'm not gonna lie. More details there of the insole and the shoe itself. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. The XT Whisper is pretty decent, man. Not and that's the other end shoe, isn't it? The model's wearing the other end shoe there as well from the other collection that they did, and I think that's the XT6. But yeah, that XT Whisper is not too bad, man. It's a nice little svelte kind of version of an XT6. Yeah, I kind of like some of the collaborations I've seen with this XT Whisper. I'm not mad at it. There's some more pictures actually here, courtesy of End as well, to double check. Anyone fancy a trip to the grocers, to the greengrocers? End and Salomon Sports Style XT Whisper Void Avocado available to End via the raffle. It launches on Friday. An in-store release will take place at End London on Wednesday, with pairs arriving at End Glasgow, Manchester, Milan on Friday the 15th. So online raffle this Friday, in-store release available next Wednesday. Yeah, they're dropping very, very soon. Not mad at them. I love the little hopefully they've got some interesting packaging as well with it as well. Maybe it comes in a big brown bag that goes over the shoebox. That'd be pretty sick if possible. Maybe get some free avocados. Maybe there's someone making some avocado toast in End clothing store here in London when it happens. Who fucking knows? But I ain't mad at it, man. I'm not mad at it in the slightest. Very, very, very cool model. Very, very cool model and well executed by the guys over there at End. Let's quickly take a look at the fucking take a look at their Instagram. Anything here we missed, or some Adidas stuff here? We don't care about that. Okay, it's all Adidas. Okay, cool. They're giving Adidas all the attention there. I'm guessing for some new shoe that they're dropping as well. Fair play, fair play, fair play. But I don't mind that fucking XT Whisper. I'd love to see more. And of course, there's that A6 that dropped recently as well, that they released as well, that did cut fucking bits as well, that people were loving as well. So big up End, big up Blood Clot End, big up Blood Clot End. Okay, let's move on here. We've also got a little piece here I want to cover regarding Tyler the Creator's new chain. I thought was pretty decent too, designed by the legend that is Alec Moss. So let's get that pony in the screen, and then we can do some couple more bits, and then we can kind of round things off. So this is courtesy of Modern Notoriety. Big up Modern Notoriety for this little excerpt here regarding Tyler the Creator's new chain that he got commissioned by Alex Moss in celebration of the new album Don't Tap the Glass. I like it more because, you know, Tyler's always got great taste when it comes to jewelry. I like it too that it's a bit different than what you see most rappers get. Kind of again reminds me of the era that he's trying to harken back to, Big Daddy King 80s, LJ type of era. You got solid gold chain here, really interesting chain link design. I've never kind of seen that before. It almost looks like rope, if that's the description of it, the links design. I also love the fact that he's got his own polo he's wearing, right? A really cute, very well done polo that's got this mesh kind of detail and this nice big pearly buttons with the Golf Le Fleur embroidered in this nice little detail. But the links on the chain kind of remind me of rope, you know? I'm not too sure if that's the style they went through, but it's really fucking cool. And then of course you've got this iconography here, this emblem that kind of depicts, I guess, what Tyler the Creator looks like, with the chromacopia afro, a big halo over his head, some crutches I think, and some two dogs. I'm not too sure what the symbolism is here, but I'm pretty sure if my parents saw this they would fucking denounce me or disown me, I'm pretty sure. But this is a really, really good piece. It really looks fucking amazing. And again, I think Alex Moss is definitely the best when it comes to designing rapper jewelry and stuff. And I'm not really the biggest fan of gaudy pieces of jewelry or rapper jewelry in general, rapper chains, but I feel like Alex Moss does it so well. So big up Alex Moss for always delivering on that sort of front there. Great commission from him that he did obviously with Tyler the Creator. And of course you got him here with a hat that says, what's that, Pelters, some vintage Kazels, I'm assuming. Maybe it's his own collection, I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure he dyed his mustache too. That mustache is looking extra black. So I'm pretty sure it's been dyed. He's growing some facial hair, which is fucking sick. And he's got a pretty decent watch on there. I'm assuming it's probably worth loads of fucking money. Doesn't look like much, but it's probably worth a lot of money, you'd imagine. But yeah, that chain is really fucking cool. Big up Tyler. Big up Alex Moss for a job well done. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it in the slightest. I ain't mad at it in the slightest. What I am mad at is these Willy Chavarria fucking Adidas slippers. I hate these things. I hate them. I hate them. They kind of remind me of, I forgot that Nike model, that Nike HTM sock model. What the fuck was it called? Nike HTM Rainbow. That's it, Air Woven. Do you remember these? These are fucking god awful shoes. Those Mike Chavarria things kind of remind me of these legendary shoes, these Nike Air Wovens from back in the day. Not really my kind of thing, but I feel like that's what he's kind of gone with Adidas. He's trying to make, trying to make his own version of those sort of like woven things, and instead it's like a sandal. It's more of a sandal. It's less of a sneaker, but it's still got the woven effect. Instead of this is just woven leather, bits of leather to kind of give it the bit of construction. You've got the bit here that kind of covers your forefoot, a bit here that kind of covers your heel, but the majority of your toes and your midfoot and shit and ankle is obviously out there in the open. But it's got a thicker sole compared to the Air Woven. The Air Woven's a bit more of a minimalist type of shoe, even though it had air bubbles somewhere here along the back of the heel, I'm assuming. It was a bit more minimal of a shoe. There was also an Air Woven boot, if I'm not mistaken. There was an Air Woven footscape. I'm pretty sure the Air Woven came in a higher silhouette. That was like a 3/4 length, but I do remember this shoe being very popular within the Crooked Tongues era. This was a big shoe back in the day during the Crooked Tongues era. See, look at that. Nike, the spirit machine. How does Nike avoid being the victim of his own success? Onto HTM, a three-person design team with Mark Parker, Tinker Hatfield, and Hiroshi Fujiwara. Big up to my goats there. Yeah, so that Nike Woven was a thing back in the day. I remember it being there was a higher model of it somewhere. They obviously have the Nike Woven there on the table. Some Rejuvenates there, some other bits and pieces. There's Hiroshi Fujiwara, my fucking idol. Tinker Hatfield, of course, was designing some of the best sneakers ever in Nike history. Some other stuff they've dropped in the over the years. There's the footscape. Is there anything on the Woven here? No, there's not. Where's the Woven fucking conversation? Okay, cool. Doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, Willy Chavarria, the fashion designer's got a collaboration coming up with Adidas soon. Maybe it's give him credit for designing something that we haven't seen already. That might be something to give him credit for, but I'm not really the biggest fan of it. I think it looks fucking horrible personally. And I'm kind of done with the purposely ugly shoes nowadays. I kind of moved on from it. I'm bored from that whole thing, but maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. There's also this regarding Bad Bunny's exhibition. There's like an exhibition going on right now, I think in Puerto Rico, tying in with his residency that he's doing out there. That looks fucking fantastic. Very immersive, expansive show, super big, great production, like absolutely fucking killing it. I think he's got this massive set design where it looks like a fucking jungle, similar to the album cover. Then he's got another fucking set in the middle of the fucking stadium that looks like his house that he grew up in. That he has people coming in and out of, drinking, singing and shit with a fucking ear mic and stuff. I don't know, it's phenomenal. Anyway, to tie in with that, Adidas decided to put together a museum, I guess, exhibition showing all of his Adidas collaborations over the years. The interesting thing about it is that I feel like Bad Bunny goes out of his way not to kind of wear his Adidas collaborations, and I'm not too sure if the 150 collaborations that they've got in this exhibition are all the shoes he's done over the years, or some of them are coming up, because some of them are completely missed. One of them being this Adidas ADIRACER GT. I didn't even know this was a fucking model. This looks fucking sick. I'm not too sure if this is a Formula 1 model. I'm assuming it probably is, right, for Formula 1 races and shit, but this model is fucking crazy. I've never seen this before. ADIRACER model with, it's got the Mercedes emblem here on the front, so I'm assuming this is definitely one that's made for the drivers to wear. And there's also a Bad Bunny designed helmet that went with it. I'm hoping this actually makes it to retail and releases at some point, because these are hard, man. I like they've also got this Adidas Originals logo here on the front that kind of reminds me of the Goodyear or Pirelli logo, especially when it's in that yellow font as well. This is a very futuristic design. Very futuristic design. Could look really good as an indoor soccer cleat as well, I'm not gonna lie, or even a skate shoe, especially with all the rubber on the side and stuff. I think that would look really fucking good. So big up Adidas and big up Bad Bunny for that. But then there's more to it via Hypebeast here, where they show you the complete archive. 2025 is the 5th year of the Bad Bunny Adidas era. 5 years and done all these shoes. Jesus Christ, this feels like sneaker slop. The two initially came together, dropped the collaborative Forum low buckle silhouette in 2021, leading to many additional colorways. Since then, the two have expanded their portfolio greatly, introducing ballerina sneakers this year, and most recently introducing a Puerto Rico themed city series of the Gazelle indoor sneaker. Now a special exhibition named The Archive has been created, offering a preview of over 150 unreleased Bad Bunny Adidas sneakers. The Hypebeast team traveled to Puerto Rico for an early look. That's a great invite, isn't it? Getting an invite from Adidas Originals to fly to Puerto Rico to go check out the Adidas fucking exhibition there. Fucking great. New models. Many silhouettes Adidas Archive have been repurposed by Benito, starting with the ADIRACER. So there's loads of, okay, so these are stuff that's due to that have been unreleased so far. But yeah, I like them, man. Oh, look at that boot. That looks fucking great. I love this. Whatever this model, this boot is in grey. Wow, that looks really fucking cool. Kind of reminds me of that basketball shoe that had is it an Audi design? I don't know what the design was. It kind of reminds me of that little thing there. But that grey boot isn't too crazy. This kind of flip on a conventional army boot is also interesting. It's got very easy tones to it. Oh, look at that boot there too. That's like taking a regular sneaker and giving it that sock, giving it a little bit of fill there on the top. Oh, look at that sock design. That's a really good model as well. I think I've seen this drop before, but in different kind of model. But I like this little sock design here with the rope on the top. Kind of reminds me of an Air Mock closure. You got the same thing there as well with the extended sock. A really interesting flip on the slide. It's got this really soft gel insole with this Velcro strap that kind of keeps your foot in there as well. Oh, this is a really cool one. This looks more like a conventional skate shoe. Very blocky and bulbous in design. Kind of reminds me a little bit of I forgot that LA brand, and they do their sort of stuff similar to that sort of thing there. Returning models for familiar faces also highlighted in exhibition. The Forum. This time the Forum is in the 84 form. I love that. Kind of looks like a jellyfish, the one that Pharrell's doing with his shoe, where you kind of made the bits and pieces, components kind of exaggerated and bigger. And as well, you've got the Samba-ish type of shoe that he's also known for. No, Gazelle indoor, sorry, that everyone's going crazy over in other colorways too. I ain't mad at that. And then the other one, what is it? Is that a Response CL they're saying, right? That's a Response CL, and the other one coming up is an Adidas SL720 as well. There's also some apparel launched with it as well. That's not too shabby. We've got some fight stuff. Okay, cool. Some good shit. Which pairs do you hope to make it to retail shelves? The Bad Bunny Adidas exhibition opens to the public. On August 6th with even more designs featured than shows with here. Stay tuned. Okay, cool. So it's opening today, I'm assuming, right? So if you're in Puerto Rico, go and check out the exhibition. It looks fucking hard. It looks fucking hard. Loads of good Bad Bunny stuff on display. Continuing on with the Salomon XT Whisper. We've got a couple more colorways coming out soon. You've got an all white colorway here. You've got a green effervescent kind of colorway. And that's it, right? Those two are the main colorways coming out very soon when it comes to the XT Whisper. So keep an eye out for that one if you are that way inclined when it comes to the XT Whisper. And that is where we shall end the show. Thank you for tuning in to the Excellent Signature episode number 925. If it's your first time tuning in via the live stream, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, all that good shit. For those of you listening via the podcast app and stuff, you will be most likely hearing my tune of the day. And my tune today is going to be from none and the other, Yeat. Yeat just dropped a new album. I'm really fucking loving it. I'm enjoying it. I think it, people are basically saying maybe Yeat kind of washed Playboy Carti in terms of releases, in terms of playback fucking factor and shit. I'm just happy that it's a far better album than the previous two Yeat put out, which I thought were a bit boring. I really have been enjoying this. I've been playing this all fucking time since this fucking dropped. I think last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I recommend you check it out. It's called Dangerous Summer. It features a pretty decent picture of Yeat on the cover too, where he's looking very snatched, very jacked, tattooed up and shit. He looks like he's in a much healthier place than he was before when I saw pictures of him looking kind of crazy. So big up Yeat for getting himself in good physical condition. I recommend my tune of the day actually for this particular pod will be the track with Don Toliver, which is track number 9 called Two Tone. Absolute banger of a track. I recommend you check it out. Two Tone featuring Yeat is my tune of the day, playing it in my voice right now. For the rest of you, you won't be hearing it because I'm doing the interview via YouTube and shit. I don't want to get copyright strikes, so unfortunately, you will not hear the tune today. But of course, if you're listening to a podcast app, you will hear my voice right now. So thank you for tuning in. Those of you who watched the random show, that'll be happening on later on tonight, so definitely tune back then. But for now, thank you for tuning in to the Excellent English episode number 925. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see the rest of you guys soon. Peace.